No, he was saying 3 inches. We got a foot and a half.
We're live.
Hola, hombres. Welcome to the BBR podcast.
Hey, Riva!
I'm joined by my homie Pancho and the homie Spooky, also known as Fred.
Okay, I'm spooky.
So what's up,
Sweet.
homies? What you been up to, eh?
I mean,
Not doing accents that well.
I haven't been up to much, but I'm getting down
Oh,
with
there
some
it is.
shit.
What do you know about National Socialism, Hafu? I bet it's nothing, Hafu. Laugh my ass off, dog.
See, you made the white
Wow.
boy run.
Run, white boy. Well, it's funny. Even on that episode, you're like falls flat right on his white face.
Yeah.
Ooh, not a good look
Yeah.
No.
for anybody. No.
Come on, white boy.
No.
Yeah, what was I saying? I was like, come on, white boy, like, aren't you supposed to make your race proud? This was bad. Mexican got to take the job, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's up to the Veners.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, that's true. Got to do what you got to do.
But yeah, we're here.
We're here. May or may not be queer. Whatever.
Yeah, take your pick.
Yeah, fuck it. It's almost episode 100. Fuck it. We'll be dead by the time 100 comes out. We'll be corpses doing this show. And then we'll be like fucking uber metal, dude.
Yeah. Hey, Uber Metal. That's the name of the website I used to write for.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. It didn't last long.
Why not?
The guy behind it kind of just flaked out after a couple of years, and just like dropped off the planet.
Fred, you should have took it up and made that your baby.
I was like 20. Didn't have time for that.
Got time for that?
So how's your week been, Dan?
I don't know. I don't think anything happened this week.
he went at home after recording last week and just went into a pod of some sort and just re-emerged.
I'm trying to remember. We recorded last week. What the hell did we record? Oh, we recorded that Griffithor Satan Narda.
Holy shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. I forget about everything. Let's see. Tuesday, I took the day off. Don't remember what I did. Tuesday. That was an interesting. Was that Valentine's Day?
No, Valentine's Day was on
Or
Friday.
was that Friday? Yeah, see, I don't know what days are days. Okay, Tuesday, I must have did something. I don't recall anything about it. Wednesday, I chilled with you guys. I don't remember if there was anything particularly memorable. Did anything happen?
No.
We rehearsed. I don't.
Just business as usual.
Business as usual. Yeah. Didn't have unblessing practice Thursday. That happened on Sunday. Then I gave Josh a ride home, and I put on Land of Confusion, and he's like, "Is that Phil Collins?" Because I never heard him sound so upbeat.
And then you put on.
Paul had us watch the live version of that
Tarzan
Phil
song?
Collins Tarzan song. You'll be in my heart.
Awesome.
Awesome. Epic movie. Let's see. I watched the Tom Cruise flick Vanilla Sky. That was pretty good.
I watched that too.
That's a while. Was
Oh, you
Cameron
watched
Diaz?
it too?
Was Cameron Diaz in that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, she swallows
Yeah.
his cum.
Yeah, it means something.
That's a
Oh,
line.
right.
Yeah, she's like, it meant something. That means something. And then something bad happens. I don't want to give it away if anybody hasn't seen Vanilla Sky. I don't. It's a trippy movie.
Can you do spoiler alerts like 30 years later? Are you allowed to do that?
Well, Fred. Yeah, you can. Well, Fred, you don't care if we spoil that movie, do you?
No, I really don't care.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's Tom Cruise. He's trapped in a lucid dream for like 150 years. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I liked him walking.
150
around
years
with
is
the
like
mask.
dream time, I assume, right?
No, 150 actual years.
How is he kept alive?
Cryogenic chamber.
Some kind of freezing chamber thing, just like in
cryogenics?
Futurama.
something like that. Just like in Futurama, and just like in the Twilight Zone. Remember those guys like freeze themselves because they like stole a bunch of gold? They're like, we'll wake up in the future and we won't be wanted anymore. and then they wake up and they're walking through the desert, and the one guy, he's like, I'll give you some water for some gold. And he's like, I'm fucking dying. And then so the one guy dies, and then they get on the road, and there's some car with like a bubble top, and the guy's like, please, he's like, I'll give you gold for a ride, whatever. And then he dies right there, and the husband looks at his wife and goes, he tried to offer me gold like it was worth something. He's like, I read once that hundreds of years ago gold was worth something. I don't know. That was the twist. That was the Twilight Zone twist.
The scary door.
Yep. I think I must have gotten something in the. Oh, I got a bunch of vinyl in the mail. I don't know why I'm back on this shit. I got the Wolf. I got the Wolf Edge of the World. I forget what the name of the record label is. I think it's like High Roller or something. I think it is High Roller.
Sounds like a
Good label.
heavy metal label.
Yeah, they do the heavy metal like reissues. I remember a long time ago getting the Living Death album from them. I forget what it's called, like Vengeance from Hell or whatever. Yeah, so I got Wolf, Edge of the World. I got the thrash band Caustic, that LP from Hells. You guys know that band, Caustic? That's the one with the I think I've showed it to you before. They're from where are they from? Germany, I think. Heavy death metal? No, that's not it. They have the artwork that looks like
Living Death.
No, Caustic.
Caustic.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned Living Death, but I just got the Caustic album. I don't remember where they're from. Are they from Germany or where the fuck are they from? Heavy thrash metal. There's too many bands called Caustic. It's the one they have like an album that looks like kind of Geiger artwork a little bit. I'll have to send it to you. God, I can't remember where they're from.
Yeah, I don't think I'm familiar with this one off the top of my head, anyways.
You didn't? Did you find it? Let's see, Heavy Speed, Spain, death metal. Is that them? I don't know why I can't find these guys. There's too many.
Oh, was it the Swiss one with Malicious?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I got Malicious. It's a little bit late for thrash.
Yeah, I remember.
That's a cool album.
I haven't heard this one. But I remember you talking about it.
It's it's like death thrash with like weird Slayer vocals that kind of move in and out of like death metal territory back into what Tom Araya was doing. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Cool.
I must have gotten something else too. I can't remember what the hell else I got. Downcross. You know what that is, Fred?
Don't think so.
Belarus black metal. I got their 2022 album just kind of as a blind buy because it looked kind of cool. It has like insects on it.
Downcross, one or two words?
Downcross, one word. Let's see. And now my computer's not working. Shit.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, my computer isn't working. It's like frozen on all these fucking pages. Trying to think if I got anything else. Oh, I bought the fucking Assassin first album, the reissue from High Roller too.
Awesome.
Oh, nice. Classic.
Came with a nice poster.
Did the Wolf come with one?
The Wolf did come with one, yeah.
Yes.
Caustic didn't though.
Horseshit.
Oh shit! I only want vinyls with posters.
It's like getting a CD without the booklet.
Yeah, it's almost like what's the point?
Who does that? Who does that?
Yeah, it's like like Fred said, you can listen to the music online, but if you're gonna get the fucking physical thing, don't you want the complete package here?
I'll take it without a jewel case, but give me that booklet.
Give me the booklet, yeah.
Yeah, yo, get a jewel case.
I've gotten albums like that without jewel cases, but it comes with everything.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just to like save for shipping or something. I don't know.
That was my Caducity record. I got like that.
The first one?
No, the second one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if what else have I even been up to? I don't think I've been up to much this week. It's kind of been the most. I said this last Monday. That Monday was like the most normal Monday. I think last week was like the most normal week. In terms of like nothing really happened.
That's good.
Just a
Normal
bland
weeks are
week.
good. Pretty much, pretty unmemorable. We got word of a couple shows that we have in the coming months.
Tell us.
I, yeah.
Well, you got a pretty exciting one coming up, actually.
What with Demoncy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh just kind of said it like that. He goes, "Oh, we have a show with Demoncy." I said, "Oh, okay, cool."
He's all, don't act too excited.
Be cool, guys. Be cool.
Unblessing is a pretty I don't know. They don't really get excited. They're both kind of like, eh, mm, eh, mm. It's like very matter of fact. There's not much emotion.
Just evil.
Yeah, just evil. Yeah, one of the other shows will keep that on the down low for a minute or two.
Yeah.
It'll be
Gasp.
a good one though. Yeah, gasp.
Freddie knows, but
Yeah, the real black metal nibs will be there. So that should be
Ooh.
cool. Yeah, I was looking into that that promoter. Apparently, everyone's played that guy's shows. Paul, that Kyle, like Deteriorate played with them, and Necrovore, and Manticore, and Nunslaughter. Everybody.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, should be cool. I don't know what exactly is going on with in the future. Maybe we'll go to Sacramento. That one guy. I wanted to ask you guys so I can just let him know right away.
Yeah.
But that's not till like June.
Yeah. That's
So Sacramento
more
is
than
go?
More than enough time, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so I think we'll do that. Send an email to Kimmy about that sacrifice show. I doubt I'll hear back, but hey, you got to give it a try.
Yeah. I mean, that one.
Yeah, what's the harm in asking, right?
July, too.
Yeah, that one's not for forever. Oh, Paul, what the hell is Demental? I didn't get a chance to listen to it. Tales of Alienation.
Oh, man, it's some really unhinged sounding. I guess you can call it brutal death metal, but
Let me listen to it for like 1 second.
not
here on the
really.
show.
It has like such varied riffs in there.
I see why you like this already. I skipped to a part and it's like some creepy, brutal mellow death.
Yeah. So.
Oh, this is a total you pick.
Yeah, it's really sick. That's why I did the lip thing.
Yeah, this seems pretty cool. I'm skipping around a little bit, but yeah, it seems pretty cool. So I thought Vanilla Sky seemed like a you movie. You're like, oh, it's already on my list. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, totally. It was it a you movie? It seemed like it would be,
Yeah,
right?
it was cool.
Yeah. What did you think?
I thought it was a really good movie. Makes me want to watch more Tom Cruise shit because you mentioned you watched Eyes Wide Shut recently too.
Had you seen that or no?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, my favorite Christmas movie.
You gonna watch Mission Impossible?
Well, there's those, and then there's these two, and isn't there?
What
one
about Legend?
I don't know what that is.
You haven't seen Legend?
With Tom Cruise?
With Tom Cruise.
No. Oh, this is
Oh my god.
Oh, this is the one with the devil with the giant horns.
Yeah, Tim Curry.
Oh. I've seen this forever, but no, I've never. I mean, I've seen this around forever, but no, I've never seen this movie.
Oh man, classic.
I wanna
Okay.
watch,
Oh, it's a Ridley Scott film. Interesting.
All right, I'll put that one on there.
It's so good.
I
This
still
looks
gotta.
like kind of a Conan the Barbarian type thing. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. With Conan the Barbarian with no muscles.
Okay.
I still gotta watch. What's it called? Jerry Maguire too.
My mom used to watch that movie constantly 20 years ago.
Minority Report was good. I gotta watch The Firm too.
Rain Man is pretty funny.
Let's see what else he has.
I
Those are the
stink.
ones that interest me at least.
I tried to watch.
Do you like the Mission Impossible movies?
I mean,
Never
they're good
seen
for what they are.
They're fun, right?
Yeah, they're like the Takens and Jason Bournes and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. First Taken movie's fantastic.
Oh,
That was so good.
Oh yeah, I saw that in theaters. It was a fun experience.
Worst.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Worst father and husband. His family just keeps getting taken.
I never
Yeah.
saw the. I don't think I saw any of the other ones. I saw the first one.
Same shit. For
The
his wife.
That's what I kind of hate about those action movies. Like I said, Die Hard, perfect movie. Why more? Why really?
yeah, no, it's like the first Taken made perfect sense, and then the second one they get taken again. It's like, guys, come on.
They
I
should've-
know,
They should have.
I know that's the name of the movie, but can we just like work on something to do with the plot a bit, just a
Yeah.
little bit? Come on,
Taken 3. He gets taken.
Just-
How about that?
yeah,
How about Taken Away?
Eh,
that'd be a good sequel name.
No good. Paul says, all right. All right,
How about
forget the
Taken
whole
Off?
fucking thing. Forget it. Taken off. How
How about just took?
about taken off the air? Yoink.
But after that,
After what?
After watching Vanilla Sky,
Oh
I
right.
watched No Country
Yeah,
for
give some
Old Men
chronology
2.
here, man.
Okay. No Country for Old Men. I've seen that at least 2 or 3 times, but I gotta tell you, I don't remember the plot at all. I just remember the guy with the haircut.
'cause-
He has like some
it's
sort
'cause
of
there is
pressure
none.
gun.
Basically, cowboy finds some money from a bad drug deal, and haircut is, haircut's trying to get that
Wow.
money.
Well, it sounds like Fred has something. Fred's so bored. He must have something really exciting to tell us. Why don't you go ahead, Fred?
I don't. I just hated that movie.
I
you
don't,
didn't
I
like
don't
it?
really remember it.
It was just kind of uneventful.
I knew a
I remember-
guy in high school. Oh, go ahead.
I, remember
Fred.
I was gonna say I remember watching it and waiting for something to happen, and really nothing does.
Yeah, there was.
He has a pressure gun
It's-
that like shoots somebody or something.
Well, yeah, he uses a captive bolt pistol, but I mean, I could do that in another movie and make it entertaining. I mean, not I could make that. I can't make movies, but that feels like it was wasted potential
I was
for
gonna say
for a slasher.
I knew a kid. I knew a guy in high school. His name was Richie, and he looked exactly like that guy with the haircut. And
That's unfortunate.
man, I fucking hated Richie. Richie was a piece of shit.
Well, how could he
was-
not?
He was like my fucking enemy in high school. It wasn't
Well,
really
it-
known. It wasn't a known thing, but when we saw each other, we just hated each other.
If he had a haircut like that, how could he not be?
I remember I went on this desert trip with Fear, and we all had to stay in his grandmother's house, and like she had no electricity. It was kind of weird, and so we all had to stay in the living room. And I remember I was like laying on my side of the floor, and Richie was on the couch, and he's looking at me, and I look back at him, and he goes, "What are you looking at?" I said, "Fuck you, Richie." Why are you here? And then
Stupid
Richie like
Richie.
ended up stealing Fear's sister's iPod or something. And then he got
Wow.
confronted and got beat up or something like that.
Scumbag.
Yeah, Richie was an asshole. There was an incident. I won't get into what, but a legal incident where
It's still before the courts.
some of my friends could have, including me, could have gotten have gone to jail. And Richie was like ready to rat everybody out, and he's like, "Oh, dude, fuck you guys, fuck you guys." It's like, dude, kill yourself.
Richie
It's like,
Bitchy.
why were you there, Richie, scumbag?
Bitchy Richie.
Yeah, the guy was a fucking bitch.
Damn it, Richie. Do better.
Die.
Wow. That feels harsh.
Maybe it's a little bit harsh. Go fall off a cliff. I don't know.
That's better. I mean, dying is just a side effect of that. So,
Yeah. Just do the first part. I don't. What happens happens.
yeah, that's just consequences.
Paul, have you seen some of these new videos that Terminus has been coming out with? The I hate video games.
Well,
Segments.
What?
I saw them when they were their own thing, and he's just re-uploading them to the Terminus channel.
Oh, so these are old videos then.
Yeah,
Yeah, he just did one on the game Peggle.
yeah, old news.
The hell's Peggle?
You don't know what Peggle is?
No, evidently not.
Awesome game.
It's like, I don't even know what you would compare it to. Tetris? Maybe?
Okay.
So you basically got this ball, and you're trying to hit as many
peg.
of these pegs as you can, and they're all intricately designed, each level, and then they have different characters that have super moves.
Bjorn the Unicorn was the character.
Yeah, that you can use, to get more longer reach or predict where you're going to be hitting and all that stuff. It's a really addicting game. I remember playing that with Kyle.
Yeah, I wrote a comment on their video. I remember hanging out at my buddy's house back in high school playing this on Xbox 360. I remember loving the fact that the character's name is Bjorn the Unicorn. And I got a reply back. It says 360 Peggle at your buddy's house is a millennial staple, more defining for the generation than 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to Josh's and playing Peggle and Marble Blast or whatever. One of those I love those marble games. Do you remember those?
Yeah. Do you remember
Marble Blast?
Do you remember
Meat Boy?
The what's it called?
Meat Boy.
Doritos Crash Course.
Doritos Crash Course.
Do you remember that?
No, let me see if I'm gonna take a look at this. Doritos Crash Course. No. See, I didn't have any of this stuff. I saw some of these games when we went to Josh's.
Yeah,
we would. I never played Doritos Crash Course.
You would just play with your avatar and like do some like Ninja Warrior esque fucking course. It's pretty funny.
I'm looking at Peggle, and
I think it was called Super Meat Boy.
Oh yeah, that one.
I remember that. Peggle is after my time.
Yeah, maybe
2007. No, like for me, the high school game was GoldenEye. Like, you have no idea how many times we would gather as a group, go to Blockbuster, look for a movie to watch, argue for about an hour, and then just go home and play GoldenEye without a movie. That was like a typical Friday night. Bought a bunch of junk food at Blockbuster, but
the game of choice for I remember for me and a good amount of my friends was Donkey Kong 64. We all loved that game. That must have been around the same time, no?
Yeah, it was around the same time, but I never really got into Donkey Kong 64. The Donkey Kong Country games on Super Nintendo were fantastic, especially number 2. But
so, are you saying you never saw the intro video for that game? It was
the DK rap. Yeah. Of course I saw it. What's wrong with you?
He has no style. He has no grace. This Kong has a funny face. That was describing Lanky Kong. I don't think Lanky Kong ever made another appearance besides that game.
Lanky. I think he showed up somewhere.
Did he?
I could be wrong. Oh no, I'm thinking of Funky Kong.
No, Funky I don't think ever showed up, did he?
He was in, I think, if not all 3, then at least 2 of the Donkey Kong Country movies.
You know what?
Games.
I don't think the 3 Kongs from that game were in any other games. Tiny Kong wasn't in any other games, right? Or maybe she was.
No. I don't think Tiny Kong was. Dixie has been in a few games. I mean, she was in 2 of them to begin with.
You
but
can Google image Candy Kong. Hubba hubba.
Oh, Candy Kong. Yep. Dixie. What else was she in? Hang on, I'm looking this up now.
In my dick.
Wow.
Wow. That was.
Oh, she was in.
Sorry.
She was in Tropical Freeze. Oh, look, there's a whole chronology here, or family tree. Tiny Kong is her younger sister. Chunky Kong is her older cousin. Kiddy Kong is younger cousin, and Diddy Kong is her boyfriend.
Oh, they didn't make that clear in the game. They didn't have much dialogue in the game. I don't think any of the Kongs said anything.
Wow, she's been in a lot of games.
Who, Tiny?
No, Dixie.
Oh, Dixie, yeah. Dixie's been in all the games. And then that other one from Donkey Kong Country 2, I believe. The other monkey. I don't know what his name was.
What, Diddy?
No, not Diddy. The other one, the one that's maybe it's Donkey Kong Country 3. The one let's see, is it Donkey Kong Country 3? Donkey Kong. I think yeah. Donkey Kong Country 3, you'll see that other monkey. I don't know what his name is. That other Kong.
Oh, Kitty.
His name is Kitty Kong.
Yeah, he's the baby.
The baby. He's the most forgettable Kong.
He's the baby.
Definitely most forgettable Kong.
Yeah, no, and he kind of played like Donkey Kong, but more clumsy. Donkey Kong Country 3 is the worst of the Donkey Kong Country games. It's still amazing. Like, it's a fantastic game, but easily number 2 is the best, followed by number 1, followed by number 3.
Now, if we're talking about greatest Game Boy, what was this game for? Game Boy Color. Croc, that's the best one. I think that was on like PS2 or PS1 as well.
PS2.
Croc, Legend of the Gobos.
I don't think I'm familiar with this game.
I don't think anybody is. You know, I think the Death Note guy, I think he must have been the one that wrote this comment. But I think he's right about 360 Peggle Your Buddies is a more of a staple for millennials than 9/11. I don't think that 9/11 was really a thing for like millennials our age. Maybe guys that were like I don't even know, who are like 40 now. It was a thing. Because Paul, you know this, because Marco always does that thing when he meets like people that are like a little bit older than him, and he goes, "What was 9/11 like?" It's like, what? It's like nothing. It was like nothing. I don't know. Nobody remembers it. You don't remember it? Christian didn't remember it. I'm like, I don't know. It was on the news, and then I went to school. Didn't really.
How old were you guys when that happened?
I was like 7, maybe.
Yeah, I was like 5.
Oh yeah.
Did nothing.
Yeah.
Did nothing.
I was 17 around the time.
Freddie, this is our drama, not a Canadian's.
Our drama.
You know what? As your hat, we experienced a lot of the fallout. So, but I was in school and I was on.
Fire.
No, the buildings were. No, I remember being in class and.
Right, that's too edgy for this Wiener podcast.
Oh yeah, that's what crossed the line. And I don't remember a ton, but we were, instead of doing anything in class, we were listening to the radio, and at some point they were saying like as many as like a dozen planes were down, but I think it's just because the air traffic thing was like hitting the fan. But I went to, so my next class was a free period. I went to one of the usually empty classrooms that we hung out in, and someone had wheeled, you know the old CRT TVs on those.
Yeah, that was awesome.
On those buggies. Oh yeah, that's when that came in, you knew we were gonna have a good class. But someone had put it live on there, and
it's like, gonna be a good class. It's 9/11.
I mean, that wasn't technically a class. That was just us hijacking it. Pun intended, I guess. But someone had drawn the two towers on the chalkboard to explain to someone what had happened, and then as they collapsed, he just like erased them. I'm like, that's dark.
It's like, all right, this is what happened. Draws two towers, erases them. That's what happened.
No. Like someone was like, "What do you mean a plane hit the tower?" And he's like, he drew it and just like to explain where it hit and stuff like that. Yeah. But which was fine, legitimate usage of diagram. And then he just started erasing them as they fell. I'm like, this is.
Is it?
There's no better definition of too soon.
Interesting. Is it common knowledge that 9/11 was like staged by the government or something?
It's a common conspiracy theory, whether I'd call it a fact or not.
I think it most likely was. I don't know for a fact because I ain't in the government. Not a Fed.
I think it was caused by the government. Whether it was direct or indirectly caused by the government is a
Well,
different story.
it's kind of a weird thing. They like the only evidence that they have for who was flying the plane is like 2 passports from like Saudi Arabia were found in the rubble. Like that was it.
See, I don't know anything about the
I know
conspiracy
that.
theories. All I can really comment on that is if it wasn't planned by the American government, which I don't think it was, then their actions caused it to come about. That's all I can really say. I don't think anyone would really disagree with that either. So,
Well, as a war metal listener, would you ever enlist?
No, I wouldn't be able to play any shows.
how am I gonna
True that.
how am I gonna order Moonblood shit if I enlist? That's not gonna work.
Yeah, true that.
Priorities.
We'll just be instead of the marching band, we'll just be performing our onslaught alongside the war.
Onslaught.
Ooh,
The second
onslaught.
assault.
Power from hell.
Kind of taken from like Evangelion, the first attack.
Don't shoot him. He's a guitar player.
Yeah.
Will be more needed than medics.
So here's the question: onslaught, power from hell, or the force?
I would say Power from Hell because I haven't heard the Force in a long time, and I heard Power from Hell like kind of recently. So Power from Hell for me because I don't remember.
Yeah,
The
same
Force.
same here.
All right, we're all on the same page. Very nice.
I did like some songs from In Search of Sanity. That was a cool album. It was different, but I liked it.
I really hated the album cover on that one, but yeah, it's not as good as the first two, but it's definitely got its moments.
Yeah, it had the Grim Reaper singer on it, I believe.
They had some more recent stuff come out, didn't they? Like a couple years ago.
I don't know.
haven't
I
heard
think that
anything.
guy died recently. His name was like Steve Grimmett or something. Or
Oh,
something
I have
like
no,
that.
I have no idea. Here, they had an album in 2020. Wow, 5 reviews at 86%. That doesn't usually happen for a legacy band. It's higher than I would expect.
Wait, they had a new album?
An album in 2020.
Are you looking at Steve Grimmett's Grim Reaper?
I'm talking about Onslaught. I don't know what you're on about.
Oh, I was on about fucking Grim Reaper. My bad. Sorry, dude. I got distracted. I mentioned the Grim Reaper singer and it got me thinking about Grim Reaper.
Why did you mention the Grim Reaper singer to begin with?
Because he sang on Search of Sanity, I think.
Oh, did he?
I think so, yeah.
The
Yeah.
personnel of Onslaught is not something I'm overly familiar with.
Yeah, me neither. I let's see. Sons of Yeah, I didn't even know any of these fucking albums existed. Or I guess I did. I knew Killing Peace existed. I think I heard that when it came out. It's kind of weird, man. Like, a lot of the stuff I listened to in the early days was like thrash from legacy bands that was coming out at that time, 2007, 2008. And then I've not come back to any of those albums.
Steve Grimmett looks like the mom from the Goonies.
Well, did you guys hear about the?
Oh yeah, he does look like the mom from the Goonies. He's like, "Hey boys, the Fratellis."
All right.
Did you guys hear about the debacle with the guy from Unholy, Finnish Unholy?
Did he
No.
die?
No, apparently not.
Is that what happened? That people thought he was dead, but he's not?
Well, the Unholy Facebook page, I think it's Ismo that was posting, wrote that Yarko had passed away, and then
Yeah.
a little later he posted an edit and update saying, "Wait, no, he's not dead." It's like, but there's like, as far as I know, there's still absolutely no context behind the whole thing, so I don't know why they said that to begin with. So
He's hurt real bad. I thought he died. But he was asleep. He woke up.
He's dead.
I think I remember hearing that, like, and I don't know if there's any truth to this, but I remember reading somewhere that his wife had messaged him and he didn't answer, so she thought he was dead. That's how it all came about.
When
But I
Josh's
hear,
mom tried
yeah,
to
here's,
call him and he wouldn't wake up. Nah, from Hereditary.
yeah, look,
You put the song.
here's the post, original post. Jarkko Toivonen passed away Saturday, February 9 or 10th. You can put both dates. 2025, born in 1970 April, and then edit 2025 0216 1:30 p.m. Attention. According to the information I've received, Jarkko is alive. I will update the situation as I receive new information. Regards, Ismo. This was on the 15th. There's still nothing. So I have no idea.
I hope it's like a really, because that'd be like such a funny ass joke. Like your friend's wife thinks you're dead because you didn't answer the phone, so you just post that.
That is funny. Because you
I don't
didn't
remember. I don't remember where I read that. I think it was in a chat, and I don't know if that was a joke or if someone actually heard that. So take that with a mound of salt.
I'm
Well,
gonna
it
see
is
if-
funny. I've done that with Paul where he doesn't answer the phone. I'm like, I hope he's not dead. Like, it's like
asleep.
he's asleep. Your brother's like, the room's pitch black.
I'm gonna see the update history for him. See if he died on his Metal Archives page.
No, he's not dead on Metal Archives.
No, I just
No,
wanna
but
see
someone
if
had-
someone did.
Someone had marked him as passed away. Yeah.
Someone got their points revoked.
Points revoked.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, like I enjoy updating stuff on Metal Archives, especially when it's not there or if it's like interesting. But like people who rush to update that a guy died, it's like, guys, really? Oh, he died 20 minutes ago. I'm gonna be too late. It's like,
That's funny as fuck. Pay some respects.
it reminds me of that Family Guy scene. Peter goes to Kentucky to speak to the colonel at KFC.
Yeah.
He's dead.
It's like, is the Colonel in?
I said he's dead.
I say, you boy, he dead. Yeah, that's all we get in the group chat now is just Family Guy updates. Not even updates, just like retarded memes.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
It's fucking awesome.
But
Well, tell us about your big show, dog.
okay, yeah, I'll go with that.
Oh yeah, you went to a show. You went to see the stuff.
You talking to?
I thought you were talking to me, but talk to Fred.
Either of you.
All right, Fred, you go with your haul and show.
Hall and show.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I went to see Undergang, supported by Mephitic Corpse and Copperlith in Toronto.
Everybody
And
there.
it was surprisingly packed. Surprising for two reasons. One, the Decapitated Incantation show was on the same night. And two, it was the day after we got an absolutely massive dump of snow. Driving down was a nightmare. Well, no, driving to get downtown was fine. But once you get downtown, it's an absolute shit show because it's an older city. Right? Well, this city was built before snowplows existed. And when you're... Well, okay, here. So I get to the street. I get 5 minutes away from the venue. And the street I'm on has streetcars, and they all died on the rails. I don't know why, but I couldn't get around them because that's where the oncoming traffic was coming. So I had to divert back in another direction, and I did what I would normally do, which is take residential roads to get there, not realizing that they hadn't been plowed because there's no fucking place to put the snow. People park along the street there because they have no choice, which means that you can't even fit a snowplow through the fucking thing. So I turn onto this road, and as I'm like 3 houses into this road, and there's like 4 cars behind me, a car that's like 2 cars ahead of me gets stuck in the snow. So I'm stuck waiting there for another like 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. And eventually I get there, find a decent parking spot, all things considered. Completely missed Copperlith, which sucked, but I mean, they're local. I've seen them before, and I'll see them again, so whatever. Mephitic Corpse were great. The singer just like absolutely destroys his guitar when he's playing. It looks like he's beating the crap out of it. And one thing I really liked is he didn't look like the typical death metal guy. Like, you remember Impetigo, the guy with like the giant glasses?
That guy looked cool.
Yeah, well, he has those glasses, and like his hair is kind of like frizzy and kind of long, but not. So it's almost like a floppy afro. And yeah, he looked really dorky, and it actually worked really well for him. But they were great live. Really grindy, really filthy. Picked up the album, which I didn't even know they had until like 2 days before the show. Immense Thickening Vomit was a great demo, and that was like, what, 6 years ago? I kind of lost track waiting for something to happen. So I go listen to the demo before the show. I'm like, what? They have an album out? All right. So, Undergang were great. David's a great front man, I guess.
Was their
Funny on.
drummer some bald guy?
Yes. He's the guy he's been in the band since the beginning, I think.
Has he?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I met somebody that was playing with them, but he was like from our area, but he was somehow playing with Undergang. Maybe it was for just like a show or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I know the studio drummer they have has been with the band since the beginning with David. I don't know off the top of my head what he looks like, but it may not have been him playing with them. Let's see.
Oh, I think it was the guy from Fetid is who it was that I was talking to.
Hang on, let's see. Julian Ray. Yeah, that was totally him, actually.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, he's from like Washington.
Yeah, he's in Fetid and Mortiferum. Yeah, that was totally him. I had no idea that that wasn't the actual drummer from Undergang.
Yeah, different fella.
Like, studio lineup, this guy has... So they formed in 2008. Because I remember looking this up before I went. David and the drummer are the only original members of the band at this point. So, but I didn't know that the drummer wasn't touring with them. Cool. Good to know.
Cool.
So yeah, that was a fun show.
Do we have a Fred Hall?
Not a ton this week. I got the Esker Beneficium split CD, which is pretty cool. Really rare. Like, you don't see many copies of this. It's Beneficium's demo, most of it anyways, from 98. It says recorded 99, but I'm pretty sure it's meant to say 98. And an Esker demo, which is... So Beneficium is like symphonic black metal. They wound up releasing an album in 2007 or 8 or so. This one is much rawer than the album. It sounds like really like dense and warm. I really like that sound. Esker is weird. Like, it's good, but it's like they have fairly long songs, and the vocals are really sparse, and they have like long instrumental passages with occasional like folk riffs and instruments. Not like overly done, but like hints of it in there.
They're a patriotic band.
Oh yeah, all the bands from Quebec are. Like, a third of that province wants to separate into its own country, so not hugely surprising.
Have you seen this 2001 demo cover art from Esker?
For which one? 2001, hang on. Which one's that? Is that, do you know?
It's Sur les allées de Cabu.
Ah, On the Wings of a Crow. I have not.
What do you think of that
Huh.
album art?
It strikes me as very Edgar Allan Poe-esque, but also, what the fuck? Why?
I
Why
I
does
don't
it?
like it.
It kind of makes me think of Cultus Sanguine. I don't know why.
I don't know how to describe this type of artwork. I've seen it a bunch of times where it's like
Well, what is it?
the band is
Uh,
Esker
Esker.
from Canada. Tell me what you think of this album art, Paul, from the 2001 demo, because I don't like it.
What's it called? The demo?
Sur
Uh,
les allées du Cabu.
yeah, let's let Dan
Spell
say
the
it.
band name again.
Esker. Paul's never gonna find this band.
I know.
All right, I think I got it. All right, Canada. Just landscape art.
No, that's the
2001
split.
demo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
It's all right. It definitely has that weird gothic feel to it.
It is gothic, isn't it?
It's,
you know what?
it's
You know what I don't like about it? I don't like the crow's legs.
yeah.
They're human legs, and I don't like that.
No, but I feel like there's like a type of this is like a type of artwork. I don't exactly know how to describe it, but you see this a lot with like depressive black metal bands. Well, they'll use these like elongated bones and like exactly what this is: elongated bones and like ghostly women, and sometimes it'll be like a one of those guys in one of the Black Death masks with the fucking beak. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what this is genre of art this is, but I don't like it.
So I think the typically Black Death crow mask didn't actually appear at the time of the Black Death. It didn't appear till later because they didn't know that much about transmission yet. Fun fact that I'm only half sure of. But yeah, that's it for in terms of actual things I got. I did order Sabat's live at Blockula, which is classic Sabat. I really like the American band Laskowiak. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but we're going to go with it.
I call them Alaska Wake.
Sure, that works too. Their demo from when they were called Angkor Vat got reissued on CD, so I picked that up. And a guy in a local buy and sell group had a copy of the Werewolf Vithran album. Don't know how to spell off the top of my head, anyways. But, anyways, that's Vritron Werewolf album. So that's coming because that was cheap, and I figured, why the hell not? Yeah, that's my collection and show update for the week.
Nice.
All right, it's pretty epic. Fred's
Yeah.
an epic guy.
I like to keep it epic.
A Spooky's an epic fool.
Paul, what you got?
AIDS.
That was so
Spooky's
quick.
laughing at you, fool.
We're just holding that in your back pocket all night.
No. There was just a second for me to say something, and I said something.
One syllable. AIDS. Let's see what I get. I got the Cryptor Saint Narda from the compilation CD.
Scratch the CD so only the first two songs play.
Yeah, gotta deface
That got
it.
there really fast.
Yeah, I was surprised. I
From
expected
Japan?
Yo!
Yeah, I expected him to send it out last Friday, but that's when I got it. So, and then I don't know. I think I got it a week earlier actually.
He sent it before you ordered it.
It was something crazy. Then I went to Denver, and there's this one record shop called Wax Tracks, and the cool thing about that place was they had like two separate stores, one for all the new stuff, and then they had like a used store too. That was I think even bigger than the new one. So apparently they had some guy sell like 6,000 unit collection between CDs, vinyls, 7 inches, and I guess this was a while ago because when I rummaged through everything, it was kind of just the no holy grails in there. But
Mm.
I got the Nyctophobic Insects album from I think it's 2000 or 2001 um, on vinyl, so that one's cool. And Parade of the Lifeless, I got their album, The Anatomy of People's Bondage. And then I got Whisper Supremacy from Cryptopsy, and then
It's a good album, Fred.
no, it's great.
Fred, it's a great album, dude. You should really check it out. It's a great album, dude. It's fucking crazy, dude. You like crazy death metal, dude?
If it makes you feel any better, Lord Worm did some backing vocals, and he wrote the lyrics for the second song. So
How do
I
you
mean,
like that?
it's been like 20 years since I heard it. I guess I'll spin it again.
just listen to the instrumental version.
There's an instrumental version.
I don't know. And then the Archon and Fossis Hell Injection censored.
Shit, yeah.
That one's cool. I remember it being pretty like blasty, thrashing blasty. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much.
I think as that band went on, they kind of sounded like modern Behemoth, but more brutal and like cool.
Yeah, like they got on the
They
guess
started doing
fourth.
octaves.
Yeah, like on the fourth album was that one like Orthodoxin, I think. They started getting a bit more
Modern.
restrained sounding, I guess. But like
Never restrained. Get fucking faster.
Hell Injection and
all bands
Perdition
out
are
there.
wild. They're such good albums. Filth Catalyst was good too, but I prefer the one before and after.
Yeah, and the art was pretty crazy. It reminds me of like Insidious Decrepancy or something.
Hmm. They were great live too.
You seen them, eh?
Yeah, that was the night my car got broken into. It was great.
But, yeah, so I got and then what else? I saw a band Orchid
Was
yesterday.
that before you went to Denver, or that was after?
That was the day I came back,
Oh.
and man, it was a disappointing show.
Wait, did you go with Julian?
No, he went on Saturday.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think-
Disappointing show.
yeah, I think that was the show to be at, the one on the 15th, because yeah, the Pomona vibes were not there, and it was just a shitty glass house. If you remember how that place is run.
I don't remember how it's run. I remember the place.
Yeah, so for some reason, vocals are cutting in and out of the mic.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then he goes to the other mic that the guitarist is using, and that's all the way down, so you can't even hear anything. And then let's see, I wrote a little review thing that I
Show review.
yeah, of
Did you post it?
no, I just told the guys because they went to the Saturday one, and they're like, oh, it was awesome. And then I was like, yeah, a bit disappointing for me.
Did you go by yourself,
I went with my friend Manny and then my girlfriend.
Manny?
Yeah.
Manfred the Moody Mammoth.
Mhm. Yeah, and then their strings broke, and then
Oh,
during
Lord.
that time when they're like adding strings on there, the singer asked people to ask some questions, and they like got pulled up on stage, and the first guy's like, "Would you ever play naked?" And I was like, "Okay."
Was
All
it some stupid kid that said that?
yeah, it was
Of
just
course.
it's like, oh great, all ages show, and then
Stupid kids.
Yeah, and then some like lady was like, out of all the songs on all your albums, which one resonates with you the most?
I hate the word resonates. I hate
Yeah.
when they say that. What resonates with you? Fucking kill yourself. That's what resonates with me.
Yeah. And
Give me AIDS. That's what resonates with me.
I go into the pit,
Yeah, the pit. Ah.
and all it is like fucking, I don't know, like 12-year-olds doing like hardcore dancing.
Okay.
And
And I
no.
know Paul. Paul destroys people in the pit. He can't really destroy 12-year-olds. So
yeah,
I
you
feel like an ass.
couldn't
I
do
mean, you
anything.
do what you have to, right?
Yeah.
And then
Well, because we're used to like giant morons, like fucking shoving the shit out of you.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, 12-year-olds are a lot easier to handle.
But
I don't. Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when there's a chick in the pit. You like don't even want to put any force behind your push. You know what I mean?
I don't
It's
know.
like
Maybe
if you don't.
sometimes they're just in the way.
I forced that one old
You're in
lady
the
though.
way, women.
That one old lady though at the zombie eating horse show.
Is that the Ex Mortis show?
Yeah, R.I.P. old lady.
Yeah, I don't think we ever told that story where Paul probably killed an old lady.
It's bound to happen sooner or later.
Was it Ex Mort? I think Ex Mortis did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah, okay, you know how like some bands they do the wall of death. Boom, you slam into each other. Ex Mortis used to do four corners. Four corners slam into each other.
Oh,
And
Lord.
I guess right before this metal show, there was like it was like country western night or something, and this like lady was still left over from that show, and she's in the middle of the pit, or in the middle of the place, like in the middle of the floor, when they're about to do the four corners. So everyone's four cornered, and they say go, and I look, and Paul is the first one to shove this lady hard, and then she just like gets obliterated by four corners of people. And she's like in a cowboy hat. She's got a drink. She's probably like 52. Paul was an
Paul,
absolute menace.
why?
People don't even know. Paul was a menace in high school.
That was like 14 or 15.
Yeah, it
then.
was evil.
I don't know.
This was last year.
This is last year. I was 14, man. Committed murder at 14.
But yeah, the drummer fucked up on some parts. When
Way
they
to
would
change
try
the
to
topic.
like stage dive and shit, they did what they did to you at the autopsy show where they just
Threw
like
me on
took
the
him
ground?
down and took him out, and he's like come on, just let these guys do it. I'll take responsibility or whatever. And whatever, they didn't let him do that. And
What, for stage diving?
yeah, no stage diving, and then like the security was like in the pits too, like making sure it was not so crazy.
What?
Yeah,
I've
it
never
was-
heard of such a
Yeah, it
thing.
was dumb. And then the vocalist was sick on top of all that.
Like he threw up on stage.
No, he was just like, I guess he just did a tour. That was the last night of the tour, and he just had like a cold or something, so his vocals
The
weren't.
squits, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and it was just like the mince grind crust people there, and little kids, and it was just, we went into the pit. It was like, what am I doing here?
Why?
Apparently, that one crusty guy is going to be at that show we're playing in May.
Yeah, we gotta bring him up on stage to dive and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Apparently, it's an outdoor place. It's like somebody's house or something.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
You guys going to come to the Demoncy show?
Yeah, I gotta support metal.
Gotta keep fucking supporting metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only playing guitar. I'm not a vocal, so I might have to like dress up or something.
They wear the spikes again.
I'll have to like find my spikes.
Get like
that one gauntlet that I have that I actually put gigantic nails in. That was really like heavy. I wonder if I can play with that thing still.
And then get like your a war helmet on.
I don't think I have that anymore.
Oh,
You sold it?
I don't. Yeah, I think so. I don't know what happened to it. I'll figure it out. Or maybe I'll just wear my shades.
Shades with the shirtless crucifix.
Oh. Shades with the shirtless Son and Rad. Easy.
But yeah, that was my week.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Why you sound very sad about it?
Yeah, it was a disappointing show. I was
Fuck
like,
that shit.
they're like one of my favorite bands, and just
Orchid?
yeah, and then just seeing that, I was like, it was a bad time.
Huh, man.
Yeah, because they're from Massachusetts, and that was their first time coming to the West Coast, and I doubt they'll do it again.
Never again.
Yeah. Yeah, and then some kids like in there, he's like, "Yo, fuck New York," and then he's like, he's like, "Fuck Pomona, he's like, New York is sick." So
Why fuck New York? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something about people that like
just
say
territorial
fuck
for no
this
reason.
town, fuck this. It's like, shut. What do you mean? Shut up.
That's not where the fuck I grew up, fool.
That's not where I grew up. Fuck your town.
I ain't never gonna fucking leave this place, fool. Like,
Fuck all the towns. How about that?
Fuck everywhere.
fuck the world.
Fuck yeah. Fuck all towns.
Fuck all towns.
Fuck
It's like that's your motto. Fuck towns.
Why isn't this a city? Pathetic.
Pathetic. That's why they
Pa.
call you Pa, because you're pathetic.
Pathetic.
But yeah, that was pretty much on my to talk about list.
Did you see? Did you listen to Soul Taker? Fred, you said you liked that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, Soul Taker. It's like kind of brutal death, Black Death shit. You didn't
Yeah,
hear
there's
that,
definitely
did you,
black in
Bob?
there.
Nah,
It was
I was soul searching, listening to a bunch of other shit.
Parade of the Lifeless.
No, like what's it called?
That was pretty good. I like that album. Demental seems cool. That's on my list.
The Mental, Necronomicon from Canada.
Silver Key.
Sacred Medicines.
Oh yeah.
Exuviate. Demonize.
Exuviate? The death metal band?
Yeah.
Oh.
Aphasia, Arcane, Thalassa. I was listening to the Crystal Age demo too. So good.
Better than the album?
Nah. Album's great.
Which band is this Necronomicon? Why does this logo look familiar?
Because it's like a Windows font.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I was trying to
No,
find.
I feel like I've seen that word in that font though.
I was trying to find the band.
Yeah, they're fairly well known. I think they're on Season of
Retard
Mist now.
vocals?
No,
So
the
were you
band.
trying to find the band with the retard vocals?
No, well, I was doing that like all that whole day when you sent it.
Dude, I had found them. But remember, like a while, like not too long ago, I said I found them, but I couldn't find that song.
Nah.
Yeah, I did find that band. I was looking through this like gore grind list, but yeah, I couldn't find any of the ones with the retard vocals.
Yeah, I think it was probably just that one song.
Yeah, I wonder what the fuck, man.
But you guys heard the band Karnak with the album Perverted?
Oh,
Is that Karnak?
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
I
Let's
remember listening to it a while ago, but the video's like down on YouTube, so I can't listen to it again. And I remember it being pretty interesting. So
this is the one with the crucifixes and like a weird CGI kind of thing.
yeah, it's like a black cover, and it's what's it called?
Which album?
Perverted. Yeah, but they didn't have it anywhere.
Karnak.
Yeah, the one with
Do
the
you re-
crucifix. Yeah.
I just had a.
No, I don't think
do
I've
you
heard
remember
this.
A band called Abrasive. You know what that is?
I think so.
They had like this album cover that looked like that Euronymous Boss fucking paintings. How do you even spell fucking Abrasive?
I'm looking at this other album, Desire, and it's some guy getting his balls stepped on by a lady with heels.
Desire. That's the first one. Ow! Look at that picture. Ow! God, she's smashing his balls. That's horrible.
Which album?
Oh,
Desire.
Desire from Abrasive.
Do I want to watch this? Look at this.
It's just a picture.
Just like a quick.
All right. Do I want to see it?
Just see it real quick. That's what I did.
Oh yeah. I remember this one. The birth. Of
Oh God.
Born in Sodom. Yeah. I remember this one. Yeah.
The birth, born in Sodom. Yeah.
Yeah. This
Remember,
was.
this was one of the YouTube specials here. This doesn't come across anymore. But I remember this being kind of cool.
Yeah, I remember either like torrenting this or blog spotting it or something.
Yeah, it was back in those days.
Yeah, that was.
That is pretty brutal. The balls being stepped on. That's death metal, I guess.
That's something.
It's abrasive.
That's youch. That's a youch. That's an ouch.
It's definitely an owie.
Yeah, they really took it up from the demo. I mean, the demo's just a lady in a corset.
Oh God. That's pretty sick. People actually like that. Step on my ball. Step on my nards. It's like, bro, you're going to the hospital.
Gently. Oh.
Is this how you get your sick
Alright.
kicks?
Additional notes. Guitarist Ralph was on the cover. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that was the guitar player's balls.
That wasn't like a Death Grips thing. But yeah.
I have a band here that I haven't listened to. It seems interesting. A band called Dominion, 1992.
Called what?
Dominion.
Dominion.
Lucidity's Omission. It says death metal indie, or demo indie. I think it's just an independent thing. For whatever reason, this just seemed like an interesting find. I haven't listened to it yet. It just seemed like an interesting find. So I can't say if it's good or not. You know what? Let me do the 1 second test. Okay. It's like slowish, kind of melodic death doom into more doomy technical shit. Oh my god.
Hell,
The whole
Lord.
album almost sounds the same, but it's kind of interesting. It's like Heck Death Doom.
Which
Check that.
Dominion is this?
Dominion Lucidity's Omission is the name of the there it says, I think it's Germany. Dominion. How many Dominions are there? There's 1 fucking million. They are from, what's GB? I don't even know what that is.
Great Britain?
Is that Great Britain?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it says GB, whatever that is.
Glen
Let's
Benton.
see.
Glen Benton, the GB.
Yeah, here we go. Dominion, United Kingdom. From England.
Good cover.
No.
Yeah, here
really
they
not.
are. Yeah, United Kingdom Lucidity's Omission. You found it?
Yeah,
Yes. That is a terrible cover.
You think that's
Jesus
a
Lord.
terrible cover?
it's nice.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
I kind of don't.
What are we looking
Also-
at? Just the chick? It's just like a chick's face.
Superimposed on itself. Why is there no apostrophe in Lucidities? I can't deal with
'Cause
this.
I don't know. They got a cool logo.
Come on, it was recorded at the Old Dairy Studios.
I'm really
It's
not
gotta-
comfortable with the spelling on this.
Let's just check it out, anyways.
It's like Lucifer's
Yeah.
hammer. Come on, guys. Where's the
Jay-
apostrophe?
Jay Freeman just totally doxed himself.
Who?
In the description of Dominion, it says contact.
That's how you did it back in the day. Let's see. I have some NS band called Gleck Nas. Am I allowed to listen to that?
No.
No.
No. Right, because
Lord.
I'm a bean eater. Kick you in the face. You remember that song from Cheech and Chong's next movie? He goes, "Beaners, hey, kick you in the face." And the other lyric was, "They're gonna eat beans." I think that's all I really have in my my list right here.
Man,
I was gonna
that's-
recheck out "Happy the Man."
Oh yeah.
I
That's
meant
good.
to recheck that out. 1978 prog rock. It says eclectic progressive rock. Okay.
I was
try
listening
to get to
to
that.
Messe Noir.
Yeah.
Do you like that?
Oh yeah, it was like
Yeah.
totally awesome. I didn't realize that Weasel and Fred were talking about it. I guess the Frenchism kind of threw me off of my search, like Eskik, Eskik or whatever the other one was.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just like it, it reminds me most of like Lust, but just not so chromatic with the melodies and shit.
It has 2 bad reviews, but
Oh
I
yeah,
liked it.
I saw those too.
Yeah. They're stupid.
What do the bad reviews even say? Why are they calling this bad?
Uh,
They just
it's
said
kind of messy and dissonant at the same time.
Well, that's cool.
But
Like for a band
yeah,
like
I think
this, I
so.
feel like that works like greatly.
Like that's a it's a short album, but it's fucking great.
it says great if you're a fan of headaches.
I am a fan of
Then it
headaches.
says
Yeah, I am too.
generic hyperspeed garbage. All right, hyperspeed, you got me.
You got me. Walter White, you got me.
It says, well, the band's official page says their drummer went insane. He had
Oh,
some
yeah, I
sort
remember
of
that.
scary nightmares after putting out this future pile of dog shit.
Future pile.
All right, it says don't waste your time or money looking for this. Well, I just bought it, so there's
Fred
no
did too.
fucking upload of it on YouTube, so I'm gonna upload it when I get it.
There's uploads of
It's like
like
3
separate
songs.
songs.
Couple
Is
tracks,
there
yeah.
more? Because I only heard those 3 songs.
Yeah, there's only 3, but there's like what 8 songs on that EP.
Yeah, we can upload that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's worth it. Good album.
Yeah, every song I heard was great.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, now that I just think about it, have you guys ever heard the black metal prank phone call?
Yes.
Yeah, Black Josh.
Evil
was, like,
motherfucker,
obsessed
Joe.
with that. Yeah, eat a dick, Joe. The devil gonna stab you in your fucking neck, Joe. You know what that is, Paul?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, where the guy's like is like some black guy acquiring for his black metal band. He goes, "I'm a white boy." It's a
No,
pretty
like
good line
black,
there.
like evil and darkness.
He's like, "Evil in darkness, Joe." There was that, and then I showed Josh the NASCAR one where they call like a NASCAR fan and they ask what they think of like black NASCAR drivers being in there. He's like, "It's called NASCAR, not NASCoon," and he like goes on a whole thing. It was pretty good. He loved it. I did show it to my black friend, and he did like it.
Wow.
NASCoon.
Let's go on break.
All right, let's go. That's it. Right. That's about it.
All right, we're back from the break.
We are?
Yep.
Okay.
We're just
So,
exchanging metal listens in between the break.
Yeah. Yeah, just some recommendations.
a couple bands from Mexico, a band from Canada who played death metal / funk. I remember that being cool. We'll have to see what the consensus is on in Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Tune in next
Yeah, I'm
week
curious.
for that.
Yeah, the album
Yeah, let's-
cover looks cool.
But what are we here for?
Before we get into that, just a quick little out of the way thing. Fred, which is the body bag that? I think I found them. The body bag that you like. Severed Existence, right?
Oh, I don't remember the name of the demo, but
I think that's.
hang on
I
a
think
second.
that's them.
They had a compilation.
Yeah,
Hang on a
Unzipped.
second. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, I like their cover from Severed Existence. It's much more colorful. I like that. I like the colorful gore on like a plain white cassette background. It just looks cool.
Do you remember the
mentioned
artwork
them.
on it was a compilation of Autopsy's demos. Fuck, what was it called? Uh, it was released by Necroharmonic. Ridden with Disease. That's it. Remember the cover to that?
Let me take a look. Let's see. Ridden with Disease compilation 2000. I like that cover. That's cool.
Right?
Yeah, that's very MTV comic booky,
Yes.
very
Exactly.
90s.
I love that.
It reminds me of like the Old Lady Driver's Low Flux Tube album artwork. If you ever remember
Mm-hmm.
that, it looks like something Rob Zombie would use, but during like the White Zombie days or something.
Mm-hmm.
That album art that you brought up, Dan, it reminded me of the one from Demise Festation. Remember that?
Demise.
Yeah, from New Zealand.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Which is really funny because I was actually going to bring up the other Demise that was related to Body Bag.
Mm.
That's kind of a crazy coincidence. Yeah, I remember that. Was it you? I think it was either you or your brother that showed me that
It was
band,
my
New
brother.
Zealand death metal.
Yeah.
You ever heard that shit, Fred?
No.
Festation from Demise. Yeah, that album art looks cool. It looks like you're in the inside of a monster or something.
Huh. Weird.
Yeah, it's been a while. I might want to check this out again too. Yeah, I brought up Body Bag because I actually wanted to bring up that the Intraphis album art. We're talking about album art, and I guess just like associations here at this point. But Body Bag, some of the members were in a band called Demise. Either of you guys familiar with this?
Mm-mm.
From Portland, Oregon.
Nope.
They have a demo called Inevitable Exit, and that album art sort of reminded me of that. It's like the green with like the skulls, and one of the skulls has one of like some kind of 50s gangster hat, like kind of like a mobster or something like that.
Right.
But these guys are really cool. If you guys don't remember Demise, the first two demos, the one from '89 and the one from '90, are exceptionally cool. So big recommend for both of you guys to check those out if you haven't.
I'll scope it.
Yeah, scope it. It's cool stuff. Look at their band picture. How are you gonna say this band isn't cool? Just look at them.
Yeah,
How do you say no to that?
I'll peep this one.
Yeah, peep that shit.
Onward.
Onward and outward. All right. Yeah. So this week we're doing a first. We're doing a double feature of
Trying to keep Shannon happy here.
Yeah. I don't know which one we should do first. I guess the one that came out first. So we'll go with Lust, Genesis of a Satanic Race, and then we'll go into Ouroboros, Spear of Destiny. And I don't exactly know where I heard this information from, but I could have sworn that I saw something at some point. I can't seem to find it anymore. That Ouroboros, the album Spear of Destiny, actually was recorded in 2003, but didn't come out to 2010 because like the main guy was in prison. Does that sound familiar at all? Am I making stuff up?
I don't know about prison time, and I don't remember when the album was recorded, so I couldn't tell you.
I mean, does it kind of make
So to answer your
does it-
question,
does it kind of make sense? I mean, it's sort of weird. It's like their last EP comes out in 2002. Wouldn't it make sense that the album comes out like pretty shortly after that and not 2010? Because by 2010, like what, aren't Ouroboros kind of not really a band anymore?
Yeah, I think
I
they
mean-
split up right after that.
it could always just be a matter of life happens, right?
No, but
I don't know.
my curiosity is like, when was Spear of Destiny actually recorded? Was it
It was
sat on for a
recorded
long
by
time? You know what I mean?
Jay Roth at Tresco Studios 2003, mastered in 2003. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Accurate.
Where did you get that information from? From Discogs?
Yeah, I'm looking through the booklet on Discogs. I sadly don't have a copy of this.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? Like, why did it take so long for that thing to come out?
It could have been label issues. Who knows?
Yeah. Either way, Okay, so we'll start with lust. I think I think that most of the people who listen to this show are familiar with lust. Maybe in the past, well, I mean, maybe Fred, you can give some insight on this since you've been around longer, and you're also Canadian. Um, has lust been? They were around since like '98, I think, with a demo.
Yeah, they've been around for a while.
But they've been kind of popular in the underground for a long time, haven't they? Like at
I
least for the past like 20 years, I would
I'm
assume.
hesitant to use the word popular so much as notorious, maybe, because
Infamous.
a lot of people know about Lust, but not a lot of people can get behind the vocals.
Is
Like,
that all? Because I feel like the vocals and the music kind of go together as this weird sort of meshing of things. It's like,
yeah,
would it really be that much different if the vocals were different? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's the same principle as, say, Silencer or I don't know, but it's just too much for some people. They're not your typical Black Death war metal vocals, and in fairness, they are abrasive. But I mean, that combined with the album cover to the first album, Annihilation Resurrection, being very provocative, shall we say, they were known. Whether they were appreciated by everyone who knew them is a different story. So, because what is his name? Sabazios was in quite a few bands between Lust and Ouroboros, and he wasn't a main part of it, but he was in Weapon, and they were fairly for the first album, anyways. They got fairly well known, but yeah, in the Canadian scene, Lust is known. Whether people like Lust or not is a different story. Some do, some don't. It's very polarizing.
Yeah, it's sort of a it. The way I discovered lust is kind of slightly, maybe not that abnormal. Um, I bought some stuff from. Don't even ask me where. I bought some shit from some record label, and they gave me some extra stuff, and in that extra stuff was a lust patch, and
Oh, cool.
I looked into them, and I'm like, this is really fucking weird. And I've always sort of been into weird metal, whether that's like necessarily good, great, bad, whatever. I've always had an interest for it, um, and yeah, I ended up digging that stuff. I sort of discovered them like right at the right time when when I was in a Black Death band, and that was sort of like in my interests. Um, but yeah, Lust is like super. They're just totally different. On I'll get into some of that stuff like in a little bit. But yeah, I chose these just because I feel like one without the other. Not that it doesn't make any sense, but it's I feel like they fit super well together. Both bands. Like even some of the demos from Ouroboros have Lust songs. Uh, that were supposed to be Lust songs, but ended up going to the other side, and you can pretty much tell like from the vocals and like the instrumentation, because this guy just has a really interesting way of writing, where at first it almost seems like there are no riffs. I think that's the way I felt when I first heard it. I'm like, there really aren't. I'm like, this is like an art piece. There aren't riffs, whatever. But it is interesting, and I think kind of coming back, I've come back to this album a number of times throughout the years, and have sort of gathered like just a giant appreciation for what they do. And if you listen to it, there are no Lust is nothing but riffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether that's good riffs, nicely constructed riffs, they're all very different. You won't really hear a band doing a, like any of these types of riffs. Like they're all purely Lust, whether that's like a fast part, a doomy part, um, or like even some of their weird interlude things. But yeah, I figured that this would be kind of an interesting one to cover.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think
So
lust really separates boys from men. Those who don't like it, boys, and men do.
yeah,
It
so
it
so how do
definitely
you guys
weeds out. We definitely weeds out the posers, doesn't it? Those vocals.
yeah. Well, not even I feel like the whole thing is just kind of the vocals match what everything else is doing.
They're just as chaotic.
Yeah.
I'll say this up front. This is what I wanted Absu to sound like. I figured
Interesting.
um this is like the ultimate drummer band, you know, um, where he writes everything for it. One man project, but coming from like a drummer's perspective of it. Because he's like a multi instrumentalist, right? Like he plays bass and does all the guitars and drums on this shit, right?
He does everything
He
on it. Yeah.
does everything on the album, and he also does different like guest spots for
Yeah.
different albums. Like Weapon, I think he played bass on one of the albums, and he's done a lot of like producing and things. So yeah, he's sort of he can kind of do it all.
Yeah, and he was the original Ouroboros drummer, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I feel like the two bands kind of fit in together so well.
Yeah, and it feels like yeah, like what I wanted Absu to be like for me. Just total drummer band, and the energy that this album gives off is like the OG singer of like Cataclysm doing like his own project or something, like a one
You
man
know,
band.
I always caught with this album. I don't know if you guys caught this while listening. He does these like Wookiee vocals. It's like they're very strange. They're like
Yeah.
almost
Sometimes
a little
they like
bit. They sound
vibrate.
like Wookiee. They sound like Wookiee vocals. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like Chewie.
Black Wookiee metal.
Wookiee. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he does like vibrate the vocals sometimes, and like sometimes they're just straight up like howls, but sometimes he puts a bit more throat into it, and it's like I said, it's polarizing. I get why it's polarizing. It never bothered me as much as I thought it would on paper. And musically, it's so damn good that I'd be willing to look past them even if I didn't like them, which I do. So it works out. But it's fuck, what an album.
I feel like a lot of what they do. Okay, so I was reading a little bit out of this booklet from the LP, and they say that the interview starts off with the interviewer saying, "I feel like this band will bring the destruction, the destruction of the earth." Yeah, it's what I always felt that this band kind of does is what we talk about like Axis of Advance a lot on this show, just because they're so they do everything, and I feel like Lust sort of does kind of the same thing, just in a different type of execution. Because you got the doom, you got the like they. He really kind of mixes the death and the black metal parts together really smoothly. It like maybe not quite that smoothly, but in a way that's sort of distinguishable and not really like any other bands.
Well, I was
it's
gonna
pretty interesting
say,
stuff.
just components wise, the type of riffing in here is like all sort of like a blur. Like it could be either black or death.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
the doom riffs are like, all right, it's just a slow black or death metal riff, and yeah, you don't really hear that so much with mashing up sounds and stuff. You'll get a more distinct riffing style in it, but I think it's sort of that sarcophago, um, like thrash foundation going through this. He's not necessarily doing any like breakdown thrash riffs or anything, but just like the kind of techniques that he's doing on the right hand are like, I think, just thrash, because he does more rhythmic like like the like he even has
Yeah, it was like bam, brr, bam, brr, bam, brr, bam, brr, bam,
Yeah,
brr,
and then
bam, brr, bam, brr, bam.
there's like an evil, probably the best like at the gates core riff written on this album too. So it's like even when he's sort of going off into other directions, making it more distinct from the rest of the song, it's all distinct from just other bands too. Like it's you can't really put names to where he's getting all this shit from. Honestly,
Well, I mean, you see pictures of this dude. What I forget what his stage name is. Um, what the fuck is his stage name? I know his name's like Bernard.
Diabolus.
Saboius Diabolus. Yeah, something like that. Well, you see his picture on Metal Archives, and you see some of the other pictures that he's taken, like with his vest on and shit. A lot of his like favorite bands or like bands that he reps are not entirely underground. There's like a picture with him with like a Grotesque T-shirt on, but then you'll also see like regular stuff that most metalheads would have on their vests, like Sodom and Morbid Angel and Order from Chaos and things. And I think Order from Chaos is probably just a giant influence on the Edmonton scene in general, right?
Yeah.
I wonder.
I've
exactly
always
what
said that
is.
Canadian that I've always said the Sacramento abolishment feels like a Canadian version of Order from Chaos to begin with.
Yeah, and I know Sacramentary say in interviews like, oh, that wasn't our intention. Those aren't our influences. We like Order from Chaos, but that's not what influences the band. With Lust, it's totally hard to pinpoint. I think he is doing the Axis of Advance idea, where you take sort of all the genres that have like been, it's like all the evil metal that's been done at that point, and sort of mash it into your own band pretty much. Axis
Yeah.
did that, but they do it in a way that's like very riff to riff, and that's very like clean, like not clean in a production or clinical kind of way, but clean in a way that everything sort of stands out and everything sort of is very tight. Where
Well,
Lust is not tight at all.
I think like Axis is more traditionally like heavy metal or structured like trad metal,
You think so?
where this is like just South American Blur.
I think if you listen to Ouroboros, you hear, I think, the Sacramentary or Axis sound more on that. I don't. You hear it to an extent on Lust, but it's not as prevalent. Lust feels a bit more all over the place, whereas Ouroboros feels a bit more focused on that sort of sound in general.
Yeah, like I'll say with Ouroboros, like that band is just has a lot of songs with moments and like every every riff seems to be like its own moment where it takes the center stage. Where this album with Lust is like you see everything
Yeah,
as
yeah,
it's like you see the beginning, the present, and the future
yeah.
as
That's
you're
got
listening to every like everything all at once.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Ouroboros is sort of like you kind of bob your head for every riff because every riff is pretty cool.
It's catchy, yeah.
With Lust, it's like you're sitting there and you kind of have to put your hand on your chin and think,
Yeah, like
and
how
you're
did I
like,
get here? How did
But
I?
what's going on? Yeah.
and
What
not
have I?
not only
What have I done
not
to
only
deserve this?
not only
Yeah,
that,
where's
but
my
you're
beautiful
thinking like,
wife?
is this a riff? You're like, wait a minute, there's a riff in there and it's pretty cool. Wait a minute, why did he change like that? Like why?
And just
Why are the
on,
drums now doing that?
yeah, I was gonna say on top of that, like the drumming on here is not like typical extreme like blasturbation or anything like that. He's doing like really weird ass beats with these riffs that are like perfectly like puzzled together.
Well, the thing about that is like you hear the old Ouroboros stuff with him on drums, and I think what a big part of his style is with Lust and when he was in Ouroboros is just like not being a very proficient musician. I I think that has to be obvious, isn't it? Is it just me? Because he has interesting ideas and the way it like comes together is cool. But as far as like what you would expect from a musician. This kind of doesn't
No, yeah, that I think that's what gives
it
it.
doesn't like it's not that he's not that.
Yeah, I think that's gives it its like the charm of like being like the South American metal, and also just reaching something that's out of reach, because he had definitely obtained something here.
Yeah, there's a different kind of atmosphere with Lust than there is with any other band. Um, I think one thing that I always thought about certain projects, say like Liars in Wait from Sweden, I hear that music and I think, how how did this band like structure this? How did this band learn this and play this? And how is this a song? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel the same way with Lust. It's like how, and plus Lust is just one guy. It's like what did he do? Did he just write a bunch of like? It almost feels improvisational. It doesn't
Yeah.
even feel like he wrote this out. It feels like he played random stuff with on the guitar and then like followed it. But it actually isn't random. Like each riff is a riff, whether that
No, it
feels
is
sloppy or
calculated,
not.
right?
It is calculated, and that's what's so fucking weird about it. I do not understand how this guy managed to make this calculated music out of this sort of like unadulterated slop. It's very interesting to me.
yeah, it's hard to find this balance between like being technical and not like unhinged technicality, and I think that this is definitely in that camp, and it's hard to find other bands that are in this, because you know you can go to just technical death metal bands like Liars and Wait and Crystal Age and stuff, and they're very proficient and you know on time and stuff like this, but then you get something so unhinged but technical in a way, not of musicianship but just of the sheer speed and structures of these songs. And I think that's kind of why I ran into Messe Noir. Like they're not playing anything particularly uh, uh, technical, but just the way that they structure it and how fast that they're playing it is like just technical in itself.
I feel like Liars and Wait is more comparable to Lust than we think. I feel like that is not as put together as we might think. I feel like it is a bit more on the improvisational side. That's just my feel about it.
I don't know. I think those guys had way more output in other bands that were like proficient. Where you said that the drumming for Ouroboros while he was on drums was like equally as sloppy. Like
Yeah, yeah,
whereas
that is true.
like where the other bands that the guys from Liars and Wait are in are, uh, you know, like even more musically comparable than that. So it seems to be more of like a like mad scientist experiment with that band.
Yeah, I feel like it's such an interesting idea, and I really it's kind of struggle to find like even if you look at like similar artists for Lust, there's not a whole lot there, and there's not a whole lot that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like are there because you could basically you could kind of equate this band to something like that Weasel Walter would like, where it's this like artsy kind of messy grind jazz thing. I feel like this is sort of comparable to that stuff, but the fact that there aren't really anything, there isn't anything on the similar artists that kind of do the same thing. Like, are there any other unhinged like metal bands that have done anything close to this? I really, besides like Liars and Wait is probably like the one that I would equate it to, and maybe like Crystal Age, but Crystal Age might be, a little bit closer to thrash or something.
I think Paul bringing up Mess Noir actually is a fairly good
Yeah, yeah, it is
representation because that they really have an unhinged sound. Like it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just the same way that that lust is actually calculated, but just comes off sounding completely batshit. Same for Mess Noir, and they might not sound identical, but the vibes are definitely similar. It's really just an aura of absolute insanity.
Yeah, the Messe Noir, that is definitely a good call, because that one is pretty slopped out in a way that I like.
If anything, I think maybe sadistic execution too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That's actually another really good one, because I know Julian was talking about that the other day. He's like underrated band, but I think he meant in a different kind of way. Like, they're known, but if you actually look into their riffs, they're very strange.
Yeah, he was like playing them in front of us, and it was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the
he was
fuck?
like playing some of the riffs. I'm like, God, those are really fucking weird riffs. And I was listening to a bit of "We Are Death, Fuck You," and yeah, there's a ton of like technical, weird, fucked up sort of riffs. And there was a song I was listening to with a great title. It's called "Mathematicus." That's a great title, Mathematicus. And then at the end of the song, he goes, "I've got you, babe." Is that a Cher lyric? I've got you, babe. Yeah, very interesting stuff. It's obviously, I think you just look at the man and understand what he's about. And I actually listened to this thing in the riffs. It's obviously very metal. So that's just a plus too.
Yeah,
It's I love the fact that this guy is not artsy. He is just some like weird metal maniac kind of dude. Like, he talks about in interviews getting in fights with War from Axis, like in like a front lawn of some guy's house and shit. He talks about things like he's like, I like to get hand jobs from tiny blondes because my cock looks bigger. Like, he doesn't. He's not an artsy guy. He's a fucking wacko, which is cool. I love that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like kind of along the lines of like, was the name Sylvian? Hood?
Yeah,
It's like if he did like a solo one man project, just with the mind that guy had.
and this album has been around for 20 years now. I'm really surprised that there hasn't been any bands that are immediately influenced by lust and would like to do something similar.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it just falls in the same boat as like like Silencer, where people are just immediately just don't take it as serious as it should be taken.
well, that's just the thing. I don't know that this band should be taken seriously. I think that this band is definitely just like listen. It's more of like, hey, dude, listen to this. It's like, this is fucking weird. Check it out. I think that's a big draw in for me. Because with I hate to do the self-referential thing, but Galicia was sort of influenced by lust, not in any immediate way, but I think the idea is sort of there. I mean, Galicia is a little bit more structured than this, but man, this is just so interesting to me, the way it's structured and the way that. Well, I guess we can get into the nitty gritty if you guys are ready to check out a track here.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So which one are we going here? We'll see. We'll see what we can pull out from influences and what some of these riffs sound like, and how they're put together here.
Well, let's see. I have a song that's pretty late into the album, unless you have one that's earlier than that.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure. I know the first song has a lot of good moments, but maybe we can skip that one because it's so long.
Storming
Let's-
Under Seal's good.
Yeah. Let's
is a
go
good-
with that, right?
That would have been my track if I had picked one.
All right,
Yeah, it starts off with.
we'll be. All right, we're back from the stormy
Total
Winter
chaos.
Steel. Yep.
That went by a lot faster than I thought it would.
How long's that track, anyways?
It's like 6 minutes, no?
Yeah, 6
God.
minutes about.
Yeah, that didn't feel like 6 minutes.
It didn't.
That's how the whole album feels. It's 45 minutes, but it just feels like you're like I don't know, it's just passing you by so quick.
I feel like if you're actually a metal guy and you listen to this, I'm listening with headphones now. Every part is super interesting.
Yeah.
Like every single part. There are parts on that where it sounds like Incenithrac or something. It sounds like improvisational brutal death, but it's all keeping it together somehow with the drumming.
yeah.
It's so the structure is so weird. Like I don't know if you noticed, there's a lot of riffs that only go like twice.
Yeah. It almost sounds like it was written backwards. If that makes any sense.
I suppose.
Well,
Yeah,
that's a-
I mean,
that's
it's
the
such a
thing,
hard
too.
thing to identify.
It's like
I know.
I wonder what came first because he had to do everything for this. So it's like,
Yeah, how do you record this?
did the drums come first?
Yeah,
did the
exactly.
guitars
How
go?
do you record this?
Vocals first? I don't know.
Did he cut this up? Did he record part by part? Because it kind of doesn't sound like that. I'll say the production is very good for what this is. Like, you can make out everything. There's nothing about this where the production is bad. I wouldn't say. What do you guys think?
No, not at all. You can hear everything.
Yeah, you
Even,
can hear everything.
even the Wookiee sound.
I can't do a Wookiee sound. Yeah, there was Wookiee sounds in there, right? Has anybody else ever made that sort of distinction? I caught it like when I first heard this thing. I was like, whoa, Wookiee.
I think it's the just how high pitched it is, along with the vibrato that he adds to his voice. It's fucking weird.
So there are a few like, I guess different parts for this song. The very first part is like the closest thing to like Behear It, I would say, where it's like boom, doom, 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 but then you have those like extra notes kind of thrown into the back, which I think are just random. Maybe it's hard to tell. Then you have like some of those improvisational. They sound like brutal death riffs. There's even fucking chugs in there.
Yeah,
So
the pinches too.
Yeah, I think all these guys were pretty up to date with what was going on. Like they were all fans of Cryptopsy at the time too, so I think that would actually make sense. Um, I think hearing brutal death in the context of this album, I guess. So hearing brutal death and something that sounds like Beherit or like what you would imagine war metal sounds like, just together so closely is I just think that's cool. I like it a lot.
Well, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it more, the you ever hear "Rise of the Imperial Hordes" by Krieg?
No, I'm totally not familiar with Krieg at all.
That first album has a very improvised feel to it, and they even do some of the more shrieked vocals. They're not anywhere near as waily as Lust, but they were on there every once in a while, and that album feels very chaotically unwritten. And I know Krieg is a very polarizing band. I mean, let's face it, so's Lust.
Yeah,
But I kind of feel like that album's kind of a kindred spirit to this one, to be honest.
yeah. I haven't heard it. I really know nothing about Krieg. I just know people either love them or hate them, or they're a band. They're a band that people know. But I've
Yeah.
never really I don't know anything about Krieg. Do you, Paul?
No, I don't.
Yeah, to nothing. I guess with this song too, there's not much you could say that sounds like actual black metal. Well, that's something interesting too. If you look at Lust on Metal Archives, it just says black metal. If you look at Ouroboros on Metal Archives, again, just says black metal, which is kind of interesting. Um, I guess the only thing that I would say that sounds kind of like an attempt at like second wave black metal is that slower part in this song where it's like boom ding 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 ding, and you have him kind of doing the clown laugh. Um, that's infectious. It had me laughing while we were actually listening to it. It was funny. It's funny.
Yeah, the
It's funny,
King
It's
Diamond
great
moment.
though.
dude. During some of those parts too, like there's so many different vocal styles here. You have the King Diamond kind of. I don't know that I would call it King Diamond because it's a little bit more unhinged than that. But he kind of does the in and out that King Diamond does. King will go up and then he'll do, yeah, you'll break your neck. This guy kind of does that too. If you listen to it, he kind of does that, but then at the same time he's going, ugh, ugh, ugh. There's like random fucking like intervals like that are interesting.
I do think the vocals work to the detriment of the album when it comes
I don't,
to.
dude. I don't think so at
No,
all. I
no.
don't
Well,
think
hear
the
hear me
vocals
out.
are
Hear me out
I'll,
though.
I'll
Like
hear you out,
I
brother.
I love the vocals. Don't get me wrong. I love the vocals, but people don't listen to this album for what it is. They just listen to the vocals.
Fred, stop, dude. I'm just kidding.
No, but it's true. Like, if this had regular black metal vocals that didn't distract the attention so much because they're so different, I think people would pay a lot more attention to just what's going on with the riffs, and what's going on with the riffs is just fucking nuts, right? So it it keeps the album from getting the recognition it deserves, I think, which is too bad because you know what? It makes me think of the Blood Revolt album. That album is fantastic, but again, the vocals, because they're not what you would expect, everyone just talks about those and actually and what's written in that album. Like it's the same deal here. Like these songs are actually fucking brilliant, but people can't get over the vocals.
Yeah, I think with
Yeah,
albums
apparently.
like that,
Go ahead, Paul.
I think with albums like that are so maximalist in their instruments, I mean, the vocals, if you do it in a minimal way of just having like one voicing that sounds like every other album, it's gonna make it blend in a little bit more. And I think becoming notorious or infamous um, with backing it up with the instruments is like probably the best and most probably the most like masterful way to like end or to like a cherry on top of the album, you know.
Yeah, it's a perfect execution. It's total maximalist. Yeah, but you kind of talked about the best At the Gates riff. I guess there was kind of an At the Gates riff in here.
Yeah, because usually it's like they'll do you know, the low E, and they'll jump to like the third or fourth string to get like those really high notes, but he's just doing it from the E and A, and it's like way higher up on the, or lower on the neck too. So a lot of his consonant riffs are like that, and as well as like dissonant ones. Where Fred was mentioning it kind of sound like Portal or like Deathspell Omega, like could be influenced by it.
Yeah, he's doing those giant dissonant chords like way like on the top, like 1 3 5 or 1 3 4.
Usually you would have those like ringing and really high up on the neck, but he's doing these riffs like, I don't know, it's almost like vortexes or like Swarm of Bees type of shit.
Well, Fred sounds like you're falling down.
Yeah.
You're falling into a void. It does sound like that. Listening to this song in particular, honestly, I would say this music is sort of genius. All those riffs are pretty genius. The entire execution is pretty good. And I'll say the album cover, the name of the album, everything sort of is represented here in a really cool way. And it's just like maximalist, chaotic, whatever you want to call it, black metal, black death.
It's just extreme.
It's just really extreme in one of the most interesting ways that I've ever heard.
And honestly, like, to be in a scene that is already so unique and like innovative with war metal, to be coming out with something that stands like shoulders, you know, head above the shoulders of the rest. It's like this one totally took like a left turn where everyone went right.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people kind of see this album as like, oh, that's the funny album. It's like, yeah, there are funny moments. There was a moment where I was laughing, but at the same time, you listen to it, it's pretty mind blowing. I feel like it's totally timeless.
Yeah, I think the next the song that I picked, Iron Warfare, probably has the most like memorable standout riffs in the album here, and like just like every single one all the way through. So if we want to get into that,
let's do it.
This shit, yeah.
We'll be right back. came back from listening to Iron Warfare. What'd you guys think?
It's that one had a black metal riff. It was like, how did that one go? It was like,
Yeah,
boom, bam, boom, bam.
and I had like the grooviest riff on there on the album. It was
Yeah,
like,
this one had like riffs that kind of did that, bam, 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 but they were like really fucking heavy. I'm kind of, I wonder what this guy was tuned to here.
yeah, definitely my favorite song on the album. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to pick because all of
I
them
feel
are
like
great.
that riff is the most memorable for me, where it starts off, it's like,
Yeah, the three-parter riff, and then I think he does another one too. It's so sick because the three-parter riffs are like what I like the most in a lot of metal, and like what we do a lot in like Warriors Chalice, where there's 3 sections or more sections, 2 riffs. You change the drum beat with each part, and it's just you're just getting the most out of a riff that you can. And
Yeah, I understand why people liked the Galicia EP more than the album, because the EP sounded more like,
oh
it
yeah,
sounded like Lust, kind of.
yeah, but, like in this song particularly, like the where it sounds where it's like like I can totally hear that in one of those songs. I forget which.
Yeah, it's I think with that, and with like, because there were like people that kind of liked the EP better, and then there were people that liked the album better. I guess you can't really you can't please everybody in every single moment of time, but I think there was enough to go around. And I think there's enough to go around with Lust, where sure, it's all pretty congruent, and it's all pretty much like, you can tell it's the same album, riff to riff. But if you're actually listening to it, I feel like there's enough for a guy who's into extreme metal to be into. And not only that, like Fred just brought up this album, which I'm unfamiliar with, which was Krieg, Rise of the Imperial Hordes. I listened to it for like less than a minute, skipping around a little bit, and it seems pretty awesome. Like, the energy is really cool. So I would recommend that to you too, Paul. This Krieg album, you'd probably like it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I remember Fred posting it. The album art looked familiar.
Yeah, I mean,
It's it's Gustave Doré, right? So it's like he's on everything.
there's something about bands that there's not many of them, but especially the Edmonton bands. There's something about this sort of, oh, I guess you could also put this into perspective of like Brazilian and South American metal, where it is maximalist. Like, it, like, take Sex Trash for instance, where they're doing a bit of everything within the context of like one song or one riff or something like that. It's just, I have a hard time understanding why somebody wouldn't like this, if they're actually into like sloppy black metal, say like Volcano, or even Mayhem for that matter. You know what I mean? I feel like it's all kind of in the same vein of just kind of going for it.
In terms of like improvised black metal, that would. I mean, you guys obviously know
Not even just
best.
improvised, just kind of energetic.
Yeah, well,
While-
in that
while
case,
going-
same thing in that case then, but bestial summoning, one of my favorites.
Sure, yeah. If you're a fan of Bestial Summoning, like, why wouldn't you like Lust? Like, that
Yeah.
band is great. I feel like this band has sort of, they haven't been active since 2005 or whatever, but this album is I feel like it's totally timeless, just because the riffs are all futuristic, looking towards the past, or like, yeah, thinking backwards, looking towards the future, and sort of just kind of executing as best you can, or maybe not even, just kind of executing.
And it was funny what you mentioned while we were listening, Fred. You're like, the vocals fade in and out, and I was like, oh, it's like he's like we're on the middle level of like a high rise building. And he just jumped off and he's screaming by.
You hear?
Just Doppler effect.
There was one slow riff in there that I really liked that I've never heard anybody do. It was something like
Oh yeah.
it like almost had a sad feel to it for a second, but it kind of just I don't know, it was so weird.
And it like
It's kind of bluesy almost.
like
Oh,
everything
yeah,
dropped
the drums,
out.
the drumming was still going from the fast part, and then the slow part started, and he's like, like it kind of came in very fucking late.
Yeah, it just started like so abruptly, and yeah, and then they just
I think
like,
that's like the only noticeable part where it was not right.
well, a lot of this stuff, it's like very like either 4 counts or 2 counts. It's all very even, and he does come back to a lot of riffs, so it's definitely structured out, not so improvised like we think. Like maybe not even the riffs, because they're just so unique in themselves. Like
I don't think it is improvised.
yeah,
No, I think it just
it's
it's so
played
chaotic that it
improvised.
feels improvised.
yeah,
Definitely, yeah.
because yeah, to be able to have to play everything yourself, there has to be a blueprint. And,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, what a great album. Let's save final thoughts for this one after the next one. And
Yeah,
we can
yeah. We'll
compare
do.
'em
I think
both.
we'll do final thoughts at the end
Yeah.
again.
So let's talk about Ouroboros then.
Okay. So Ouroboros, I guess we kind of screwed up. I said we do this chronologically, but apparently, the Ouroboros album actually came out 2 years before this. While Bernard, I'll just call him Bernard, he was not in the band. Oh, one last thing. I wanted to read a couple of these comments that were on the Lust album here. Let's see. So somebody says, I watched them open for Morbid Angel and Cannibal Corpse at an all-ages show in Edmonton, 1998-ish. The main guy was all over the local metal scene at the time. Incantation played an indoor skate park in Edmonton. I was sitting on the top of the half pipe at a skate park. Great view of the show. There was like 50 people there. I remember the guy from Lust was going off in the little pit that broke out. Ought to be young again. I was reading. This has, this is kind of leading into the next one, but I was reading an interview from Ouroboros from that LP booklet, and Bernard is in it, and they ask him if he has any like musical training, and he says no music lessons. He goes, this is what he says. He says General von Paulus showed me a few things on drums.
Mr. Gressman.
Yeah, so he was. I guess they were buds, and all these guys were sort of in the same, all basically in the same band.
That was gonna be my next, or that's something I forgot to bring up.
What's that?
Lust or Rights of Thy Degringolade?
Lust.
Lost.
Yeah.
Lust. I don't really care for Rights of Thy Degringolade very much.
Yeah,
It's not as great as I think people make it out to be. I feel like people think that Rights of Thy Degringolade is what Lust is, but Lust is much more interesting and much better.
I think so too.
I still have a hard time with Rights, not because it's weird, but because it just doesn't do the same thing as some of these other Edmonton bands do for me.
I think Rights is the Weird Rights album, which would be the first one.
Yeah.
Didn't turn out too great, and the albums that did turn out well, being the next two. I haven't heard the Reactivated album, but the next two albums, they are a lot better, but they sound much more standard. So it's kind of like they couldn't get the weirdness and the quality together on the same album.
Yeah, they like trimmed the fat on that.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like getting older and like hearing a bunch of stuff, or if it's like I'm actually interested in bands that are doing interesting things. And I just, no disrespect to Rights, but I just feel like what they do is not as interesting as people make it out to be.
Yeah, that's just not
maybe
right,
it's just
bro.
me. What's that?
So that's just not right.
That's not right to say that.
Yeah, not right about saying that to right.
Do you think so?
No, I'm just playing on words.
Right.
He's being
Right.
difficult.
Yeah, that's what he does. That's what Paul does. He's difficult. No, I'm just kidding. It's like that's how he's known. Paul's difficult.
But I mean, you were concerned about going chronological. I mean, the Lust album was first, so
Yeah, you're right. It came out first. Nobody heard Spear of Destiny. Well, at least
it was,
internationally.
it was recorded first too. Generally speaking, right? It
Yeah.
started being recorded in 2002, and Spear was recorded in 2003. So
Yeah,
Well,
you're right.
Lust started before Ouroboros, so maybe we can
yeah,
just say that.
And we already did it, so.
yeah. Just
Um,
switch it around in editing.
there was a couple other. There was one other comment that I liked here. What the fuck was it?
Well,
Let's
the
see. The indoor
burning the
thing.
arms.
There was something about burning arms. He says, I liked. He goes, I liked Bernie. I like burning Bernie's arms with cigarettes. Met in Milwaukee 2001, but had him down in a midfest for 2 weeks. 24-hour taco joint next to Anvil Jam Room. Bernie lined his tacos with full of jalapenos. Fun couple of weeks. There was another comment that I feel like I can't see it, but somebody says you met this guy. What was he like? And he says something like he's as insane as the music was, if you can imagine that.
I mean, you would have to be right.
Well, I feel like if there are last words for this, and I can bring this up, I feel like we kind of brought this up, but this is sort of hipster proof, if that makes sense. I feel
Yeah,
like with the sort of kind of let's just call it dumb for lack of a better word, dumb approach at vocals and like sort of execution, which I like, but it is sort of just like spur of the moment kind of thing. And also the aesthetic of the band is very hipster proof. This whole thing is very just it's just metal and is weird and it's fucked. It's fucked. It's fucked the way in sadistic execution is fucked in a very awesome way.
Yeah.
And this actually makes me want to listen to the other album, and I probably will. I've listened to it before, but I want to listen to it. I want to get a good grasp on it, and I want to listen to the sadistic execution stuff a little bit more as well. So I'm super interested in just fucked Black Death, like just fucked extreme metal, I guess.
yeah, that's fair.
Are we all?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty
It's the
pretty
best.
awesome. It is the best. Yeah. So shall we get into the next one here?
Yeah, another best.
Okay. Yes, Lust is the best, and the band that Bernard was also in. Well, so yeah, Bernard was in this band. I don't exactly know the history of why he left, and I don't know the history of why Spear of Destiny came out in 2010 rather than when the fucking thing was mastered in 2003. But I don't exactly remember why I took a shine to this album. I bought it before I listened to it as a blind buy. I thought the album cover was very cool. Don't remember where I bought it. I think I bought it on Discogs actually. I think I might have bought this on Discogs. Um, it looked cool. I think I sort of knew that it had kind of a cult following to it, and for whatever reason, I can't exactly remember what the consensus is for like most people in this band. What I think I saw this album on like Hell's Headbangers, and it said if you live in Germany, don't buy this or you'll get in trouble or something like that. But this is actually the first instance of hearing something that is extreme, catchy, melodic, and just kind of epic. I don't think I took it in as when I had this album. Like I actually listened to it a fair amount when I had it on vinyl, or I still do. But when I was spinning it a lot, I liked it and I thought it was cool. But it never really dawned on me how cool and different and interesting it was. Um, yeah, this one again sort of came at me at the same time as like Lust did. This probably came first, and I didn't exactly know the history of it. Um, when I was in Funeral Smoke doing that Black Death war metal kind of band, I was sort of not digging my own band. Like I wrote that stuff sort of on the volition of like the drummer's ideals, and I was listening to Blasphemy and Belial and Art Goat, and like that all that stuff was basically new to me, and I was sort of writing in that style, sort of like just following like what the main guy wanted to do, and I figured this is what sound that we should have with that band. Um, and I didn't like the EP for a while. I was like, this is kind of mid. This is kind of crap. I don't, whatever. I knew we had some fans, but whatever. It wasn't until some time later that my friend was telling me, he's like, man, Funeral Smoke is great. Why don't you continue doing this, do this, do this? And I was listening to it. I'm like, maybe this ain't that bad. It's actually kind of cool. It's kind of like Vaughn. And for whatever reason, Ouroboros popped up in my head like 10 years later. And I'm like, I really love this idea that war metal can be melodic and can be sort of eclectic and all over the place rather than just like Black Witchery or something like that. I guess that would be my best example of like streamlined war metal.
Proclamation.
Sure, yeah, exactly. Proclamation. This was like my first example of stuff that sounded just cool, extreme and cool. And I always loved the aesthetic and sort of the idea of just noisy Black Death. But this sort of took it to another level where it has that aesthetic and it has that feel, but there's also a lot going on, just like Lust. But I think I probably heard this before Lust. And that this is the Ouroboros album is what originally made me want to do the second version of Galicia, which is kind of a weird thing too, because the first version, I'm getting into like a little bit of story time here. First version of Galicia was supposed to be like Wagner Odegaard worship. Do you know who that band is, Fred? Wagner Odegaard?
Yeah.
That's Swedish. Yeah, I was trying to do something like that. I wanted to do like RAC inspired black metal. And I got
That
bored
was at
after
a
writing.
that was as a one man band too.
Yeah, it was a one man band because Paul got the COVID vaccine, and at the time I was like, oh, the COVID vaccine can spread and it can fuck up my immune system. So I'm like, I'll do this on my own. I don't want you around, Paul. F off with your
Wait,
vaccine.
wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. Paul got the vaccine, and I didn't want to get his spiked proteins or whatever in my lungs.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So I wrote the first Galicia by myself. It started off as like this RAC inspired thing, and I got bored with that after one song, and I decided to make it more like Brazilian war metal, something like Raven Dark, something like Goat Penis, things like that. And I guess it just made sense that the second iteration of Galicia would be more war metal, in sort of a varied state, because that's what it was. But I had no idea that Galicia would eventually become like what it ended up being. So yeah, Ouroboros pretty much was this album was pretty much like the originator of just whatever you want to call it, melodic war metal, I guess. And I suppose Goat Penis was kind of there too, in the background.
Hmm.
But yeah, what do you make of all that, Paul? What do you make of the melodic war metal? And I guess I was gonna say this too, but I forgot during the Lust part when I was reading this Ouroboros interview as well. He was saying that his main influences, if he had to name them, it would be Destruction, Sarcophago, Goat Penis, and I forget what the other band was. Oh, and Blasphemy. So it's basically that. And I guess these guys were also just kind of influenced aesthetically by South American black metal with the spikes and all that crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you make of or what I guess both of you guys, what do you make of Ouroboros standing aside from lust, kind of moving forward.
Well, I'll say a little story time too. During
Yeah, let's
that
do it.
time, while you were in Funeral Smoke, I think you were showing me some more metal, and I was like,
Yeah.
"This shit's kind of fucking boring as fuck, bro."
Yeah. I remember you did not like it. You thought it was really stupid.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, this is not." I wasn't jamming with it at the time, and
Yeah,
then
this was new to us for whatever reason. We liked so much stuff, but like war metal, I in high school I had no idea what it was. Like the only bands I knew were from Finland, just because I knew all Finnish bands. Belial, Art Goat, that was it. Uh, and Paul showed
Beharit,
me like Goat Penis.
yeah,
No, I didn't really. I think I knew Beharit maybe. But yeah, Paul showed me Goat Penis, but I kind of just saw that as like a death metal band. I didn't really put two and two together because I really wasn't listening to Blasphemy or anything.
yeah, and that was pretty much the only band that I liked in that style, even though I didn't know it was
Goat
a whole.
Penis.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know either. Like I assumed they were some kind of melodic death. Like when I heard Goat Penis, I thought they were a melodic death metal band with like a fucking drum machine. That's what I thought.
hmm,
But apparently it wasn't a drum machine. It just sounded mechanical like that.
yeah, and I don't know when I started giving that a chance, but like war metal in general. But
Yeah.
I think you showed me some shit, and I think it wasn't until we were like doing Galicio where you showed me like Ouroboros and like around the same time as Axis. I think a little bit earlier though than like Axis because that's like when I had my awakening like you did, and
Yeah, we're
like
like, whoa, this Edmonton scene is pretty incredible.
yeah, and when I heard Ouroboros in the context of Axis and Sacramentary, it was like the perfect middle ground between that. Because, like I said earlier, this is like an album that's just like full of moments. Every single part, right after the other, is just like enjoyable all the way through. There's nothing confusing about it. If you get
There's
it, you
nothing.
get
I
it.
would say there's nothing boring about it
Yeah,
either.
like if
Same
you,
with Lust. Like nothing bores me.
yeah, like it is. As soon as it clicks, it's gonna click all the way through. Like there's not gonna be anything that like turns you off, like in the middle of an album or anything like that. It's definitely up there, and sometimes even like reigns higher than Axis and Sacramentary at points for
Sometimes,
me.
yeah, sometimes, yeah, I would agree with that. You
Yeah,
know, Axis is good, but I wouldn't say they're better than either Lust or Ouroboros. They're kind of in the same sphere.
yeah, they're all like Lust is kind of going its own way, but still in the same like pantheon with these guys, and Ouroboros is it seems to be more focused on like I don't know. Would you say that this is more based on like structure or just like riff to riff versus
It's
like Axis?
it's versus Axis.
Because I think
I
Axis is more fixated on like structure.
think so too. I think that makes more sense. Yeah, Axis seems to be more fixated on structure. Ouroboros is more fixated on riffs. But both of the bands are sort of interchangeable, where they are structured in ways that like riffs come back and it's like not sloppy, I guess. I mean, this band is definitely sloppier than Axis.
Yeah,
You can hear that, but I think that's okay, and I like that idea. One thing that I was just thinking about, why I think a huge reason why we talk about these bands so much is because I think this is like the last bastion for us of great awakenings. Um, like it's with all these bands, the Edmonton scene. This is pretty much, I think, for Paul too. When did you discover this stuff? Like mainly like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
yeah,
Yeah, like I've known this stuff, but it didn't really click for me until about 5 6 years ago. and that was sort of the last major like interest for me and Paul, I think, which is why we bring them up so much because, we talk about like getting older and the things that stick with us are things that like we heard in high school, things that we heard a little bit after high school. We can kind of come back to albums that we're super familiar with. But this scene was sort of the last thing that was of major interest, which is I think why we bring them up so much. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me. You even talked about on Drew's podcast. You were like, it's so hard to find anything better than Axis and Sacramentary, and yeah, I feel the same way. I don't, and I think that's an interesting thing because we were already in our late 20s when we discovered this stuff. Um, so I think this group of bands sort of proves that maybe it's not too late to just be immersed by something very cool.
Yeah.
I feel like we have another group of bands with like since doing this podcast. We have some Fred picks, some new Paul picks, some new me picks that are now like in the pantheon. But yeah, this group is just the latest in the pantheon of like extreme interest, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But Fred, what do you what's
As a
your history with
Canadian
this?
old head, what do you have? Yeah, what can you tell us
Yeah,
about
what's
this?
what's your lore?
I don't have too much from this one.
Damn it.
I like when it came out. I don't remember hearing a ton about it. I feel like it's gained momentum over time. I hear more about it now than I did back then.
I feel like you look online. There's like not much said about this band. There's not many reviews. There's not many comments. There's not much.
No, but when people do speak about it, they tend to revere it a fair bit, and for good reason. It's a very fucking solid album. It's a bit more standard to me compared to Lust, and I mean I don't think that's terribly surprising. Like the riffs in Lust are bonkers. The vocals obviously stand out. This feels like it fits right in with the bands that you mentioned earlier. So like Sacramentary, Axis of Advance, Revenge, Conqueror. It fits right in with those. And the sound on it is not terribly surprising in that sense. It's just extremely well executed. And it's a fucking fantastic album front to back. I don't know. Like, I do hear a lot of parallels with Axis of Advance, especially the, I guess more like List and Obey. Maybe not quite as start-stop as, especially like Obey, but the same kind of vibe, same kind of militant, almost futuristic kind of
Yeah.
feel in it. Yeah, no, it's a solid album, and I hear a lot of. I guess you can only describe it as a Canadian sound in it. Like it's that Western Canadian sound is just all over this thing.
Yeah, I would say like the fast parts definitely have like it sounds like Conqueror when it goes real fast,
Yeah.
which is cool. I guess the difference between this and Axis and like Lust is that Axis and Lust seem to have an extreme appreciation for like heavy metal and like old 80s stuff. And while this band probably like they definitely do, this band kind of they sort of strip that down to where
Yeah, it's not as pronounced.
no, this is stripped down to a point where you have like these really catchy you have like these catchy kind of bouncy riffs. You have your typical war metal riff, and then you have something more akin to like second wave black metal. And that's like the three parts you get in this album. If there's any more, I will announce them. But yeah, with that, should we check out a track here?
I think so.
Okay. Which one should we do? Track 4, Paul?
Let's see. I know Fred picked As I Reach for Hell.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what comes up.
That
before
is track. Is that 3 or 4?
Yeah, I want to do 4, but that yours is 3.
Yeah, I was like hesitating between 3 and 4, anyways. So
Okay, yeah, we'll go with
I think-
track 3 first.
I think the name Annihilate, Subjugate, Desecrate. If that doesn't echo Conquer and Revenge, I don't know what does.
Yeah, and then both these albums have Spirit of Destiny songs, and this one's even named that. Like the last one, I think there's a song called Spirit of Destiny too.
Is there? I don't remember the track list on it. Hang on. Now I'm
Yeah,
curious.
there is. Yeah, they're kind of in the same mode here, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, let's listen to
Yeah, Spear of Destiny, Spear of Longinus. Well, there's like a Spear of Longinus cover on there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So as I reach for hell, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, as we reach for hell.
That that song, it's yeah, it's the riffing in there is kind of all over the place. It's wild how that opening riff, and I'll just say exactly what I was saying earlier. That opening riff just made me think of the New York Baphomet. It was a total chunky death metal riff,
That
and
that is such a good fucking observation. That is New York death metal to a T. It's so
yeah.
groovy.
And the best part is like from there it kind of just like slips seamlessly into this melodic death metal riff that was filtered through a war metal filter, but it totally sounded like Gates of Ishtar or something like that.
Yeah, if you slowed this down and like maybe elongated the riffs a little bit, it would just be like an old melodic death metal band from Sweden. But yeah, the way they sort of bring all those parts together and just make them like totally extreme with some eccentricities like some of those long hanging chords in between and like some of the
Sure.
weird stuff that Paulus does on drums. That sort of just brings it into extreme war metal that's like unapproachable. But listening closely, yeah, it's pretty much a melodic death metal song. Basically.
Yeah, I think the two things you can compare with Lust and Ouroboros is the main like consonant riffing notes and melodies that kind of guide you through the riffs, and what kind of breaks it away is where they go into more grooving territory and have the like syncopated drums, but unlike Axis where and Revenge where they syncopate with the guitar, so they'll do like a kind of marching like, and then the riff will be chugging
There's
along
someone at
with
your
that.
door.
And then here he's just kind of doing it on its own over like a tremoloed riff, which just makes it sound even more chaotic. Um, such a great way to set yourself apart from the riff.
Yeah, and I'll just say, I said it to you guys, but God, those are great fucking vocals. I love this vocal performance on here.
Yeah, it's like layered, right? Because there's like a death metal vocal going underneath certain parts, like the chorus.
There's a super lazy death metal vocal under here, but it's performed in a way where it sounds like he's trying real hard. It's
Yeah,
lazy, but it's up front. It's like it's kind of right up front. It's interesting.
The important thing is he's trying.
I think the important thing is that this band is cool, and
That it
this
is.
band, not only that, like it's coming off of like Conqueror and shit, but it's letting itself be known with all these melodic riffs, and then not only that, it's like holding on to the big riff, which is fine. I think this band, it makes sense for this band to have a big riff each song. With the big riff here would be the one that goes down 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 down
yeah. And the thing with this band is like they'll hang on those big moments for like it seems like a whole separate song almost.
yeah, you almost kind of forget that you're listening to like war metal, like it, because I feel like those parts don't last too long. There's like spurts of just extremity that go into something catchy. I mean, even the first riff here was like just a super catchy thing.
Mm.
Down, 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 down. And again, I'll say this too. With Lust, all the riffs are uniquely Lust. And with Ouroboros, I feel like all the riffs are uniquely Ouroboros. It's sort of hard to not hard, but there's nothing here that's like stand out where you could as like music listeners or reviewers, whatever you're gonna call it, where you can go, that's that part, that sounds like that. Oh, wait, it just changed to that part. It's like, yeah, it is pretty varied, but there's not a whole lot in general where you can be like, they stole that from this band. It's like, not really. I mean, we stole from this band, but we'll get to that in the next sample. Not quite as extreme as like Total Vernington. Like,
Teef.
Paul knows what I'm talking about.
We'll
I
practice
learned,
them.
by the way, that's such a good riff. I've known guys that are like stealing straight up riffs. I'm like, really? You're playing that? That's the same exact riff from the. look, look. Take influence from riffs, but brother, kind of distort it so no one will know. If I know what it is, you didn't do the right shot. You didn't do it right. If I know what your riff is, you didn't do it right. Do not steal riffs like that. Sort of make them your own. Jeez.
Come on, guys.
Last thing I'll say about this too is again, just like Lust, poser proof, hipster proof.
I don't know if they latch on to the melodic death metal parts.
I don't think that matters. The aesthetic is too weird. The ideas here are too fucked up. I don't, and I'll say this too. I don't think melodic death metal is hipster music. I think melodic death metal is for metal guys only. Think about
I think it depends on the melodic death metal.
No. Well, what hipsters listening to what melodic death metal?
In Flames.
In Flames?
Not the
Yeah.
good at Flames.
There's
Not
good
even the
in
bad in
Flames.
Flames. Yeah, there is good in Flames. I would say the first like 4 albums are pretty good. Yeah, that's a disagreement, I'm sure, but I think In Flames are pretty good up for a while. I don't think when I say okay, I think the hipsterdom thing is dead.
What was Ron saying? He's like, I had to pretend like I didn't like Clayman when he got interviewed by Nick.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. But yeah.
No, I think hipsterdom it's dead pretty much, but
Oh, we can only hope.
no, it's been dead for a long time. But there are certain ideas that hipsters latch onto. You know what the hipsters latch onto a lot? The Iljarn sound. That's something that's very in the now. I guess if there's anything sort of moderate or like, in the now, Grouse and Kite and like Kaler synth is like in the now of hipsterdom. I don't think melodic death metal, like the good melodic death metal, early In Flames, whatever, early Dark Tranquility, early At the Gates, I think that stuff is pretty not popular. I think that's only popular with heavy metal people just because they like, I don't know, heavy metal guys like their melody. They just kind of do. If it's overdone, like in modern power metal, I get it. But Ouroboros is not that. It's obviously something more extreme with shit. With just like nice shit, not even nice shit because their melodic riffs are still fucking evil sounding. So
Yeah.
maybe you wouldn't exactly hear this from a band from Sweden. Maybe Grotesque. Maybe that's like the most evil melodic death metal band there is. I don't know. Somebody can leave a comment. Who's the most evil melodic death metal band?
Most evil. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably like Grotesque, Ouroboros. Trying to think if there are any like actually evil fucking melodic death metal bands. Those are the two that I can think of off the top of my head.
I mean, I want to say Autumn Leaves, but I don't think I'd necessarily call them evil so much as just heavier than
No, they're
most.
not evil. They're not evil. They're heavy and they're cool, but they are not evil.
No.
They're like your modern '90s death metal band. Not necessarily evil, especially with like their fucking lyrical themes and things.
What was that song they have, On the Verge of Tears? That's so emo.
Exactly. That's not evil. That's just like sad. It's like, oh, you gonna
What?
cry, baby?
Why so sad?
Yeah, why are you so sad, dude?
Get over it.
Yeah. So shall we jump into the next track here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know about jump. I would just step carefully
All right,
into
let's
it.
step carefully into annihilate, subjugate, desecrate.
Yeah, we're all old and prone to hernias here. Let's just ease ourselves into it.
All right, you're
Yes,
next.
yes.
You're next, bud. All right. We'll be right back. defeated, I'm subjugated, and I'm desecrated.
Wow, that's rough.
I feel like it's never gonna end. Like I'm in a Ouroboros of destiny.
An Ouroboros of destiny.
Dork.
Wow.
I'm here all week, guys. But yeah, I think this is the song that has the most memorable moments of album, full of them. You know, right from or you know, just to point out the chugging groove part at the end. Dun, 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 dun,
It's very militaristic, isn't it?
yeah, and like even the way that the snare kind of pauses for a second, then jumps right back into the groove, and the memorable like chorus in there too with the dissonant chords, syncopating with the vocal pattern there is
Yeah,
great.
that's the futuristic part. That the chorus is just wacky.
Yeah, and the melodic parts in here, like right after another. We were saying like it's almost like Argus slant type shit, and yeah, I think this is definitely my favorite song on the album. What do you
Yeah,
guys
this
think?
is the one. This is the song that changed me. This is the one.
Yeah, I think everyone can be changed here. This is like the Matrix moment here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
this-
that's.
No, go
Go
ahead.
ahead,
One at a
Fredward.
time. One at a time.
Fredward can go ahead. Fredward always goes ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I was debating between "As I Reach for Hell" and this track as my pick because they're the two highlights to me. So, having played this one back to back with "Reach for Hell" is pretty much perfect. That's what I picked for to represent the album, and I just love that as you listen to this album, it really does have the usual Western Canadian war metal feel to it.
Yeah, but like one
But when
riff.
well, this thing, right? Like when you listen to the riffs on these, there's so much that sounds like it could come off of a Swedish melodic death metal album. It's cool how they managed to put that filter over top of it to make it sound like abrasive war metal. But when you sit down and just really pay attention to them, you're like, this isn't as harsh as it sounds like it is. These riffs are present, they're memorable, and they're catchy. But they give you the aesthetic, they give you the production and the vocal stylings of war metal, so you kind of immediately assume that the music is that way as well. But
Yeah, the
the
riffs
more I
kinda
listen to
tricky
it, the
too,
more it
'cause
comes
they,
out.
They sort of start off like atonal, the way like this song had like one war metal riff, and then the rest was pretty much just like it could be just like a fucking Swedish like melodic black death kind of
Uh,
thing. I never really thought of it that way, in terms of like I always thought like who would be into this war metal people, but it's more interesting. I never thought like guys who were fans of like Dawn and Sacramento can take things from this, but I think they can. I think it's like one of the most interesting types of. It's definitely one of the most interesting war metal albums that there is. Just because I don't think there are any that are this melodic. Well, maybe besides Goat Penis. I think Goat Penis did stuff a little bit after this that was influential. But if you look at like old pictures of the main guy, I think his name is Angel Fuck with 2 Ks, which is a cool name. I don't know that if that has anything to do with the Misfits song. Little Angel Fuck. Either way, what the fuck was I saying?
they're like shirts and pictures of him.
Oh yeah. You see pictures of him. He's wearing like one of the oldest Goat Penis shirts that there are. So I don't know that Goat Penis sounded like this or had their melodic kind of tendencies this early on. Maybe they did in 2003. Yeah, probably. I don't know. But I guess that just makes sense. either for this band or Goat Penis, I assume they were probably listening to a bit of everything. Going into like interviews of these guys and like seeing the band stuff that they're wearing, I think it's pretty obvious that they're pretty much like with the times and with what cool metal was. I mean, that's kind of the weird thing. It's like I don't think metal stopped being actually good or cool until like the mid 2000s when these guys were doing it. I think that's when like metalcore started being a thing, and maybe that was seen as uncool for metal people.
I think Goat Penis had more of a grind origin too, and that came through a bit more in their sound. Like when we listened to those earlier demos and the Separated Fetus stuff, it is more like grinding as opposed to what you're hearing here.
No, but you know what I mean. Where like it seems to me like metal kind of didn't have a poser point of view until metalcore kind of became a thing. Maybe subtracting like glam stuff.
Yeah, I guess it was more like you're either metal or you're not, right?
Yeah. Rather than, are you a poser metal guy who likes metalcore and deathcore? Because that's the way it was when we were growing up.
Yeah,
It
but
was
then
like
there was the
separate
whole
camps.
well, there's the whole death and black metal thing of what's truer and stuff like that.
Yeah, like death or black metal bands being like, these are the acceptable death metal bands to listen to. Like, don't listen to these other ones; they're gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it's a point in time, but I feel like a lot of that stuff is always kind of interesting for like development for other bands, especially looking like towards futurism and like what is the next thing to do. And it seems like I remember the Terminus guy said this about Sacramentary. They said like a lot of war metal bands didn't learn lessons from them. And same with Ouroboros. I think it's the same case. I don't think a lot of war metal bands kind of learned too much from them, where all their riffs are these like atonal grind riffs rather than having anything else in their songs that
Well,
are
it seems like
relatively
a
interesting.
lot of the genre that I didn't like so much was like just the sort of dead end like of creativity. It was more just like worshiping bands before and being I guess like faster versions of it or heavier versions of it. Where bands like this are taking shit from everywhere and filtering it into war metal and playing it in an extreme way. And I think what this album sort of separates itself from the other Axis and Lust even is like death metal guy, black metal guy mentioned with Sacramentary and Axis that they have an embarrassment of riches, but here it's like a showcase. Like every like important moment and part is like that's all you're focusing on while it's being played, and it's enough repetitions for it to be catchy and like headbangable. They're not like taking it away as soon as it's played. They're giving it time to breathe. Where I think like Axis and Sacramentary are playing all this stuff, and even Lust playing all this shit playing it so fast. They just want to get to like the next part. Where these guys are like holding on to moments a lot longer.
Yeah, these are more like straightforward songs than anything else.
That's the thing, though, with when it came to war metal and the point you mentioned earlier about bands not learning from bands like Sacramentary Abolishment. After that, and the genre became a bit more stagnant in terms of development and just general innovation. It kind of just became an exercise in extremism and just how abrasive and how over the top war metal can be. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Like you look at bands like Nile Domination, it's just they take it to the furthest extreme they possibly can. It's fun, but it doesn't necessarily hold your attention as much as bands like this, Sacramentary or Ouroboros, because there's more going on there, and that's
Yeah,
what ultimately makes it interesting, right? Like the over the top aggression, it's fun for a period of time, but if there isn't a lot to dissect in it, then it's like you listen to it, it's fun, kind of glazes over, you move on to the next thing, right?
yeah. I think that's a good point of like it being exercise in extremity, because it seems like there's this lesser number of bands that we always talk about that are writing war metal um, as the exercise versus playing war metal as the exercise. Like they're using it more for like it's like live bands versus studio bands type of um, like dichotomy there, where it's like, all right, let's just write some really extreme stuff so we can play some shows, versus like, all right, let's play the most extreme shit that's like simultaneously creative and interesting all the way through. And
Basically,
if,
let's write it. Let's write a good album.
yeah, if we get some
Yeah.
shows, then that's okay. But it seems like all these other bands are just wanting the shows more than making good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the
there's a
song
reason
titles. Why is it always me and Dan that just talk over each other at the same time? It's never Paul and someone else.
We both have something to say.
I got
But when Paul has something to say, everyone listens.
I got good control.
Go for 10.
Forgot what the fuck I was gonna say.
We were talking about separate bands playing live versus wanting to write good albums.
Oh, I think I was gonna bring up the point, like I think there's a reason why this band is talked about like a decent amount, is because it's kind of made itself a classic, as opposed to a lot of just war metal that's been coming out since maybe like 2010 to now,
Yeah, it's like
where
all marketing.
nobody really remembers it.
Yeah, it's more like, oh yeah, like I saw that band, let me check out their album.
It's like, oh yeah, I saw that band. Oh yeah, I remember that band. And then on the other side, it's like, oh, that's one of the fucking best bands. It's like, oh, have you heard this album? Oh my god. There's a difference between, oh, I know that band, and then, oh, you haven't heard this band? Brah, brah. There's kind of a difference between that.
Yeah, I think like Lust, this has like a timeless sort of staying
Definitely.
power with it.
Oh yeah.
Versus like war metal bands that are just trying to play shows. It's like that's just trendy shit.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it is. It no shit is. The other thing I was gonna bring up is, God, I keep losing my train of thought. I keep forgetting what the fuck I was gonna say.
It's gone.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
two.
Oh, you guys are distracting me. I can't think.
Quick. Do 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 do.
It's all coming back to you.
What is that, Boomerang?
All right, we're back, and Dan remembers.
No, I don't. Fred, I don't remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something. Fred can go. Maybe I'll remember later.
Yeah, Fred.
No, I got nothing right now.
You were talking about the song titles before you guys went over each other.
No, but like it obviously stemmed from like blasphemy, but like bands took the names that the blasphemy guys used and turned them into song titles to like just make the longest, most abrasive and extreme song titles that they can. And it's just like I said, it's just an exercise in extremity, and it's fun. I like it, but it's a short-lived thrill, I think. My favorite one, and I mentioned them earlier. There's a war metal band called Nile Domination from Ecuador, I think. I think it's Ecuador. Anyways, they They have a track on their album, which is, by the way, called Sado Perverser Goat Insulter. It doesn't make any fucking sense, but again, extremity for the sake of extremity. But they have a song called Nuclear Explosion in the Vagina of the Virgin Mary. And then in brackets, they have the word abortion just to make it perfectly clear what's going on. It's just like, what the fuck? But yeah, fun album though. I enjoyed that one.
I think the last point I was going to bring up was something along the lines of, okay, so you have this fucking Edmonton scene where they are not just doing melodic war metal, but it is kind of merging genres into this like just extremity thing where everything is like super speed. I guess you could also put like Tyrant's Blood and Martial Barrage into the same camp, I guess. But there's only a handful of these kinds of bands that exist. It's sort of surprising to me that that this sort of thing never caught on. I do remember seeing a review from Strike from Axis, and somebody said it's in one way it's surprising that no one has aped this sound or like tried this idea. And then on the other side, it's not that surprising because he says I don't think a lot of bands have the like musicianship to pull it off.
Or even just drive too to want to be able
or
to
the
make
drive
something.
to pull it off. Yeah, but the bands that do it, I mean, I in a way I wish there were more, but at the same time I'm just appreciative of the stuff that exists that is like this. You know, this has become like my favorite scene or genre or style or whatever. This kind of mishmash war metal, melodic black death, whatever you want to call this. You know what I mean by this. It's like tech. It's like sloppy. It's like fucked. It's like hipster proof. It's whatever you want to call this stuff. But yeah, I'm just appreciative that it actually exists.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got any final thoughts about our two albums?
About Fred?
Yeah, Fred.
Who, me?
I like Fred. He's a cool guy.
Nice.
Gooble gobble, one of us.
One of us.
One of the freaks.
But I mean, fuck these two albums. Like they're.
You said butt fuck.
Heh.
Well, fuck these two albums.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
I mean, they're classics of Canada. I wish that the Western Canada sound was actually a thing that people referred to, but I've never heard it. Well, I a couple times I have, but I really think that the bands we've mentioned throughout this, whether it's the two that we talked about, Lust, Ouroboros, Sacramentary, Conqueror, to a lesser extent, Revenge, but Tyrant's Blood.
I don't think
like,
Conqueror counts.
Well, I mean, they do. They just took it
They
further
do,
in
but
the.
not, I don't think they're more streamlined. They're not as experimental. I don't think.
No, they took it further in the aggression, direction of aggression than.
Fred, that ain't the fucking same, bro.
To be fair, I think Conqueror was probably like the first band that was the most extreme band. So.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like they were.
Yeah.
They kind of
Ahead of their
trailblazed that. Yeah.
Totally.
And then Revenge kind of took that and did it ad nauseum. But I wish there was more references to the Western Canadian sound because I think they really did pioneer things over there. Like between Blasphemy and Antichrist and even Procreation to a degree Witch's Hammer also kind of factored into that too, even though they were a bit more thrash. You can hear that echoing through a lot of the bands that we're talking about these days or today. But Lust is always going to be extremely divisive, and that's unfortunately just for the vocals, because I think if it was released either instrumentally or with more standard fare black metal vocals, people would be fawning all over this album. They'd be losing their minds to it. And rightfully so. The riffs are absolutely bonkers. It's unpredictable. It's unhinged. It's just absolute madness put to music. It's the soundtrack to insanity. And I love that album. No questions. Ouroboros, as much as I love it, I would not put it quite on the same level as Lust. It's a fantastic album.
Hold me back.
Do what you have to. Do what you have to. Like, it's a fantastic album, but it's not as unique. It doesn't stand out as much as Lust, and it's not as mind-bending as Lust is. Like, it's... Even though I would never compare them necessarily musically, it sounds as alien to me as the Demilich album sounds. Like, it's just out of this world. So, Ouroboros, no hate to that album. I love it. But nothing will touch Genesis. It's just such a crazy album. Probably the only Canadian black or death metal album I'd put above it is River. For me.
All right, Fred. I have 2 questions, but you already answered one. I'll ask it anyway. Lust or Ouroboros?
Oh, Lust.
And here's something we never do. What's your rating of the albums out of 10?
Ooh, that's interesting. Lust would probably land a solid 9, maybe a 9.5, and Ouroboros would probably get an 8.
Damn, sucker didn't like it.
Hey, that's still an A.
8's pretty good.
No, like the only thing that Ouroboros really has going against it is that, especially when comparing the two, I can't think of many other bands, if any, that sound like Lust.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Any bands that sound like Ouroboros, though?
No, but there's more bands I can more closely compare Ouroboros to. Like, if I'm in the mood for more...
Oh my god, bro!
If I'm in the mood for more Ouroboros, Axis of Advance isn't a far throw from it. But if I'm in the mood for more Lust, I don't know where the fuck I'm going to go.
Axis of Advance is more varied. Lust is more just... every riff is a banger. Not to say that every Axis riff isn't a banger, but I feel like the Lust ones are a little bit, or the Ouroboros ones are a little bit more, like right in your face immediately. Hey, check out this riff, dog. It's a little bit more big riff. Boom, boo, haunted house.
But I mean, just because I'm saying I like Lust more than Ouroboros doesn't mean I have any negative feelings towards Ouroboros. I love them both, but if I have to pick a favorite between the two, it's gonna be Lust. Why, Paul? What do you like better?
I think I'll have to go with. Oh man.
Yeah, right. Now that you're thinking about it, it's like, oh, man.
I think I'll have to cop out and give it a tie.
Boo!
But
Dude.
they're tied at 10s. So that's my
Dude,
rating.
I was
system.
thinking the
Boo.
same thing. When you said the rating, I think I would really actually have to give them both a fucking 10.
Yeah.
Because
You're both such wimps.
No, we're not.
All right, Ouroboros.
No, we're
just
not.
for
We're beaners.
Just for that, Ouroboros gets a 10.1
10.1.
over Lust. So
All of a sudden, Fred's brain switches. He goes, "You guys are fucking wimps, posers!"
I mean, come on. You guys give me the third degree for picking Lust over Ouroboros, and you guys just get...
third degree.
Yes, it was just Paul.
Yeah, it was just Paul. It was all him. He did it all.
But then Paul, which one do you like better? It's a tie. Oh, grow up hair and pick one.
I did.
Grow an extra nut.
By
Yeah, 10.1.
yeah.
Shut up.
Fucking ass up.
But yeah, very influential album for me. With
What are you?
Spear of Destiny and Lust it's just gonna be something more to aspire to be something like that. And I don't think anyone will ever scratch the surface of what that did. And
Well, we kind of did.
please, anyone, give me some unhinged technical extreme metal albums like this.
Does it exist?
yeah,
Does it
it
exist
doesn't have-
outside of this circle?
It doesn't have to be technical in a musical proficiency sort of way. Just when you hear this shit, it's like, all right, it took some thought and some sort of talent to be able to mash all these riffs together and play them in such a high speed and all that without having to do any sweeps or anything to be called technical. Other things that come to mind are like we said, Messe Noir, like that one is definitely in there for me, and Sadistic Execution too. So if there's anything else like that, let me know, because I'll eat it up. But
Bestial Summoning, man. Bestial Summoning.
oh yeah. And Dan, you got your final thoughts, and you said your rating was pretty much like mine, right?
Yeah. Do you know Bestial Summoning?
Yeah.
You listen to that shit?
Yeah, we talked about it like a bunch of episodes ago.
I think that's where Blasphemophager gets their sound from a lot. I don't know if that's just me. That's what I heard last time I listened to it. Although that was back on the Dawnfall episode 23. Hee hee hee.
I remember I said.
Yeah, dude, I remember most of it. Have you noticed that when we talk about thumbnails and intro songs, I like know exactly what's what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what's where and what's what and what was said in what episodes. I know all that stuff. My final words. I did have something, and of course, you know me, I forgot. I know what I was gonna say. I was gonna say from the past, I want to say, yeah, exactly, probably past 10 years, these two albums have been total top tier for me, and I'm glad I finally, I didn't want to pick these at some point just because I felt like they were a little bit too known for what we do sometimes. Sometimes we kind of just pick. These would probably be considered classics, right? Am I wrong to say that?
I think so. I think they generally
I'm wrong
considered.
to say that these are considered classics.
I'd say they're considered minor classics, but
Yeah,
yes.
I feel like they're known, but well, whatever. They're
Major
here.
classics. Yeah.
Well, whatever they are, they're in my heart, and they're in my soul, and I have a handful of albums that I feel like I have to do. These two are part of that, and I think after those handful of albums, which is the next who knows 10 weeks, maybe the end of the year, after this handful of albums that I want to do. I think I might stick to what my heart is really, really into, which is weird Finnish death metal. So at some point, I might sprinkle them in between. So every other week, I might do a Finnish death metal release because that's my favorite. Besides this newfound love for the Edmonton scene, a lot of the weird Finnish death metal stuff is I feel like it has to be done. I just kind of didn't want to do it just because I didn't want to be like Finland every fucking other week. in the beginning of this show, I don't know if you noticed that, but for me it was like Sweden, Finland, Sweden, Finland, Sweden, Finland. I might have to go back to that because those are the albums that like mean a lot to me, and as these do, and I don't know that I would give any advice to bands to you know, we've already kind of given our argument for this shit, but how about you guys be metal and write something cool?
I given
and
up
be
on new
influenced
bands.
by the Edmonton scene. What'd you
Don't
say,
be
bro?
lame.
I said I given up on new bands. Just show me good old ones.
Dude, me too. I really don't give a fuck about new bands. New bands, give me a fucking break. Last new band that I heard was like Horrendous 2014 album. That's probably it. That was a great album. If you disagree with me, you're the beaner, not me.